National Bank. Get old.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzek telling you about the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. It's a state-of-the-art facility providing doggy daycare, boarding, and professional grooming services all on site. Hang out with your dog or without and enjoy time at their indoor-outdoor tavern connected to the dog park. Fun, happy, clean, and safe. They even have trained handlers on site at all times. Visit thehoundsandtap.com for more details. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and international best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. The IRS is the most ruthless collection agency in the world. They just announced they will be ramping up collection activities now that the COVID crisis is over. They can seize your bank accounts, garnish your wages, and make your life miserable. My book tells you what you can do so you don't have to worry about them ever again. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope the problem will go away. It will only get worse unless you make the right choice and step up to get them off your back. We can help. We help reduce or eliminate penalties, negotiate payment plans, and represent you in tax audits. Make the right choice and go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. Baseball may be America's favorite pastime, but the Nationals are not America's favorite baseball team.
And Tyrone, a high drive, left field, Benson back, track, gone! Taylor with a two-run shot.
The Brewers are in D.C. with game coverage starting this afternoon at 5:30 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 75 degrees at 9:03. Sunny this all day today with some afternoon haze from Canadian wildfires high in the atmosphere, a high of 79. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I am Adam Roberts. Investigations continuing today after 4 deaths in 2 separate incidents near EAA in Oshkosh Saturday.
The pilots in both crashes had the required ratings and certificates. EAA spokesperson Dick Napinski.
The NTSB will be taking a look at that as far as pilot experience in that type of aircraft in each incident.
Napinski adds it's been years since a fatal incident happened during the air show.
What happened on Saturday is extraordinarily rare. Matter of fact, talking to a lot of the veteran people, we can't remember the last time there were 2 incidents in the same day, much less 2 that had fatalities.
Jessica Gatzo, WTMJ News.
One of the aircraft involved in the mid-air collision Saturday was a gyrocopter, a small rotorcraft available from companies such as Rotorway. Napinski telling WTMJ more about this type of craft.
Gyrocopters can be either built as a kit or they can be purchased fully constructed. You know, like many of the more than 1,000 home builds that are registered every year in the U.S., they have to go through a airworthiness inspection before they can fly, then flight testing, and then annual inspections every year to maintain that they are worthy of flight.
Both people in the gyroplane survived the crash with injuries, the collision sending both aircraft to the ground, with one landing on a parked plane. 2,800 We Energies customers, roughly, still without power this morning as crews work to make repairs following last week's severe weather outbreak. It comes as a hot apartment with no power is being called a possible cause of death for an 84-year-old from Milwaukee. Milwaukee police saying Alton Smith was found lying on the living room floor next to his oxygen tank. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's report saying the apartment was, quote, fairly hot and had no power, possibly due to the severe storms. Autopsy results are pending. And starting tomorrow, our neighbors to the west in Minnesota will be able to purchase recreational marijuana.
The law legalizing recreational marijuana passed through the Democratic-controlled legislature and was signed by Governor Tim Walz.
I think Minnesotans know that they're ready to do this. It makes sense to do it. I've always said all along I trust Minnesotans to make their own decisions. I think when you put this regulation into place, it just creates a safer transaction for folks.
Minnesotans aged 21 and over are now allowed to purchase, home cultivate, and possess cannabis. The law also expunges records of those convicted of certain pot-related violations. Some say the law needs to be tweaked tweaked to prevent kids from getting access to weed. Al Schock for CBS News, Minneapolis.
Minnesota becoming the 23rd state to legalize recreational cannabis, joining Midwestern states like Michigan and Illinois. The law does not provide language protecting those who consume cannabis at home from facing sanctions in the workplace if they test positive for cannabis metabolites on a drug screen. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 37 points this morning to 35,496. Slightly up for the S&P 500, just a point to 4,583. And the NASDAQ now down 8 points on the morning to 14,309. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9:07.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing. Toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories. Bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield. And 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Get huge savings this weekend only during Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Stock up on all your favorites, like 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $13.99. 40-pound bags of Superior Premium Grade Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $10. 40 pounds of Diamond Crystal Iron Fighter Water Softener Pellets, only $5.89. Or pick up a Sterilite 18-gallon storage tote, on sale, just $4.99. We have what you need for your everyday life. Fleet Farm.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac. Hey, go where summer leads you and drive inspired in the new Mazda car or crossover or Mazda certified pre-owned model that's right for you. The Season of Discovery sales event is where to gear up for your journey. Get more Mazda for your money, more for your trade, while you experience Team Holiday's award-winning guest care and simplified buying approach. It's the stuff that makes fans out of drivers from all over Wisconsin, and I'm one of them. Explore all that's new, including the first ever Mazda CX-90, and treat yourself to a test drive at Wisconsin's #1 Mazda dealer. It's #1 Mazda certified pre-owned dealer and the Badger State's only recipient of the prestigious Mazda President's Club Award, recognizing excellence. Accolades are per Mazda North American Operations Performance and Zone Sales Records for 2022. Find yours and discover the difference during the Season of Discovery sales event at Holiday Mazda, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and online at holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
It was a weekend Brewers fans will soon want to forget as the Atlanta Braves busted out the brooms to complete the series sweep of Milwaukee with the 8-6 win over the Brewers on Sunday afternoon. With the loss, the Brewers now trailing the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central Division by half a game. Over to the NFL as the Green Bay Packers wrapped up week 1 of training camp on Sunday. Beginning today, the Pads coming on in Titletown as head coach Matt LaFleur ensures the standard remains high for his football team in Green Bay.
The expectations are this, that guys go out there and compete to the best of their ability each and every day, that they come here with a great attitude and great energy, and and embrace this grind.
Day 5 of training camp will get underway later today. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Just a couple of slow spots this morning. 43 southbound from about just north of Capitol to about Center Street through the construction zone is adding about an extra 4 minutes on your drive from Brown Deer to the Marquette. Also on 894 westbound, we're seeing a bit of a slowdown from the Mitchell to about Loomis, specifically right out of the Mitchell as you get close to 27th Street is where we're seeing a little bit of red on the map right now. That's adding 3 extra minutes to your drive. It's 9 and normally 6.
Traffic is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management. It's time to know the difference, and Annex Wealth Management is ready to help with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary partner. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast for today, sunny and pleasant conditions. We could see some afternoon haze from Canadian wildfire smoke, a high around 80 today. Overnight, lows dropping into the low 60s. It'll be a great night to keep the windows open and turn off that AC. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, slight chance for afternoon showers, a high around 82 degrees. 86 the high Wednesday, warming up to 87 on Thursday. Next chance for rain arriving on Friday with a high of 78. 38. It's currently 75 and sunny in Milwaukee. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9/11.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now here's your hosts, Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Sandy Max, Monday morning. Here we are.
Good morning.
Yeah. Busy weekend. The weather's been fantastic. Everybody out and about.
It was glorious. I took not one but two walks yesterday because I was just like, I couldn't stand to be contained indoors.
Your walks were the equivalent of my chasing my two grandchildren around the...
How old are your grandchildren?
2 and 4.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
They
activity.
literally never stop, ever. Until they're sleeping. Now, the good news is they sleep like 12 hours, so it's like you get that big block. But boy, during that 12 hours of active time, my knees are feeling it today. And I'm a fairly active dude, but man, they are.
And they're going in different directions.
Yes, or at full speed into brick walls.
Oh, no.
I mean, we had headers, we had all kinds of crazy stuff happen.
Were there tears?
There were tears, no stitches.
Very good.
And probably more importantly for both parents, my daughter and her husband, and the authorities, no bruises.
Was there sugar involved?
Oh, my God. Snacks was the key word of the weekend. Those kids got over snacks. I feel bad that we gave them that many snacks, but what are you going to do?
Fuel them up.
They're on their way they're actually at daycare already.
What was one of the funniest things each of them did? What's the funniest thing the 4-year-old did?
4-year-old. What did he do? Oh, he's running around naked in the house because we let them go through the sprinkler. The kid's running around naked through the house. Is that a thing when you're 4?
Sure.
I guess.
Why should it be? Then what's the funniest thing the 2-year-old did?
She had this massive ball. It's not funny, but she had this, those big exercise balls?
Yeah.
I have one because I do a lot of work with it.
Yeah.
Like stretching.
Oh, you can
stuff.
sit on the big ones. You can sit at your desk.
You can do that. I don't do that because I don't have a desk. But, quick editorial comment there. Don't want a desk.
You could bring it in here to the studio.
Yeah, just bounce.
I want you just to be
I could
sitting on a
bounce
bouncy
around
ball.
it. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
No, I don't
and
think so.
delightful.
I think that would sound weird, wouldn't it? Because I'd be going away from the microphone.
I think it'd be great, and the people who walk by in 3rd Street Market Hall would enjoy seeing you.
So I have a big stone patio. Mm-hmm. So she full sprints at the ball, boom, flips over. Thankfully, nothing, no permanent damage.
With acrobatics.
Yes.
Cirque du Soleil in training.
I don't know what little Charlie, it's Charlotte, but we call her Charlotte. I don't know what she weighs, but it's not more than like 25 pounds. So the ball just like tossed her. Thankfully, she didn't smack into the brick wall. So that was some of the excitement.
Tragedy averted.
But they also saw Lake Michigan for the first time.
Yeah.
To them, it's like the ocean.
I was just going to say.
It's like this vast.
Because you can't see the other side.
They couldn't believe it.
Aw.
Matter of fact, I couldn't believe it because I hadn't been to Lake Michigan in probably a year or so. So
you're kidding.
No.
That's obscene. You haven't been to the shore?
Yeah. Remember we were talking about Bender Park with the county supervisor, Steve Taylor, last week?
Yeah.
Okay, so the road, remember he said the road's going to be done. That needs to be redone, yes, and take it on
work
his
in
word.
progress.
Yeah, work in progress. I would suggest a couple things. There's a funky smell by the concession stand. Figure that out. That's one of them, because it's noticeable.
Is it a smell maybe like trash hasn't been taken out?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
You're
not describing the smell?
It smells
it was just unappetizing?
Let's just say human waste. Let's put it that way.
Goodness.
Yeah. So it's a
Okay.
bad smell.
Okay.
The other thing is...
Could be some plumbing issue.
Yeah. Is it too much to ask for like those beach cleaners, where they groom them?
Sure. In Florida when there's a pickup truck and it has the rake behind it.
How about just driving down there with a beach cleaner, just giving it a nice once or two over, just go over to kind of clean it up a little bit? I mean, there's like flossing things in the sand, and you don't want to see that.
No.
That being said, we had a
But you
blast.
got to see the water.
We did, and they got some shells too, I was surprised.
How fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, little kids like that can really brighten your perspective and make a summer day even better.
But I'm ready to
they're
dig
taking
into
such
it.
joy in it.
I'm ready to dig into
Were
it.
you running through the sprinkler too?
No.
That's a simple pleasure.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I had a pool. That's something I wish I would have put in. But I put the patio instead of the pool.
I could just see you now. Cannonball!
See, you don't know me that well. That's not me either. I quietly slide into the pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I bet you did a cannonball or two in Las Vegas.
No, I did not. They don't even allow that in Las Vegas. No diving in the pools.
Cigar smoking, but no cannonballs? That is not a pool I want to be at.
I told you, they kick you out. You got to go smoke somewhere else now with the cigars. All these rules. All right, speaking of rules and the law, that's the worst segue ever, but this is a big week for the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Swearing in tomorrow of
Judge Janet Protasiewicz. Big day. Court shifts on that subject. This is where we want your contribution on the Old National Bank Talk and Text on 855-616-1620. I actually made it the show poll today. You can find it at 620 WTMJ. I shared it on mine as well. The court shifting from conservative lean to liberal with the swearing in of Justice Janet Protasiewicz this week. What is your reaction to this? I gave you a few choices. Not happy with about 100 votes, 36%. It's about time, 40%. Time will tell, 22%. And some select comments. What's your comment? I've got some thoughts on this, and we're also going to play after the break the comments of one of Wisconsin Supreme Court Justices, Brian Hagedorn, somebody I supported, somebody I have a lot of faith and trust in as a arbiter of the law. We'll hear from him. He appeared on Channel 12, I believe, over the weekend. Matt Smith up front. We'll hear some of that, and then get your thoughts. Sandy will weigh in as well. That's all coming up right here on WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this. The Brewers Radio Network's Lane Grindle sees it all from the broadcast booth.
Down the right field line. This is up, and it is going to fly out of here.
But what's he like off the air?
It's 2023. It's the year of the cheesehead.
Lane Grindle joins Wisconsin's afternoon news every Monday during the Brewers 2023 campaign.
There'd be nothing better in my life than to be the brother of Lane Grindle.
I did not have a brother, so, John, we can make honorary brothers.
Brought to you by Crest Cadillac of Brookfield. Discover them at CadillacWisconsin.com.
Hey, I'm Sandy Max. I've been telling you for a while about my friends at 3 Pillars in Lake Country and their gorgeous wooded campus, 300 acres of serenity and safety along the Bark River. What a setting for your retirement. And now they are expanding and taking reservations for new high-end active adult residences with amenities like a supper club, a spa, a pub, a dog park, a theater, a fitness center, and a lot more. A spa and a supper club. That's someplace I want to live. With 4 residence styles to choose from and all those amenities, there really is nothing like it in Wisconsin. They open in 2025, and they're almost 50% reserved, but you still have time to get in on their priority list. See for yourself online at 3pillars.org.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing. When you own a well pump, air spitting from the faucets, a decrease in fluctuating water pressure, along with silty, gritty, slimy changes in water quality, are all symptoms that your well pump isn't well. At Austin Plumbing, we're well-rounded plumbers. I say that because we're one of the few companies around who can capably diagnose and repair all the symptoms related to well pump and water system problems. You know when your car needs service, right? Maybe it makes unusual noises. It sputters, jerks, seems weak, or stops altogether. That goes for your well pump too. We have all the special equipment needed and the master know-how required to electronically pinpoint the exact cause of your well and water issues. And we'll give you a price up front before any work begins. If your well pump is telling you it's not well, let's nip small problems in the bud before you're out of water and in deep, expensive trouble. Told you we were well-rounded. Austin Plumbing. Online at teamaustin.com.
Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee has partnered with the iconic musical duo of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from world-renowned rock band Kiss to bring their newest hit to town, Rock and Brews Restaurant. On August 1st, rock and roll over to Potawatomi for the grand opening of Rock and Brews and satisfy your need for great food, great music, and most importantly, a great time. For more details, visit paysbig.com.
WTMJ Now.
Big changes ahead for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Justice Janet Protasiewicz being sworn in tomorrow, Tuesday. Court will shift from a conservative lean to a liberal lean. Now, here's the interesting part, Sandy. Justice Brian Hagedorn has sort of been a swing vote. Obviously a conservative-leaning justice, but he's surprised and in some case angered conservatives across the state because he's sometimes sided with the liberal members of the court.
He's a very thoughtful person.
Absolutely.
He's a degree in philosophy. I know he was a member of the Federalist Society, which is certainly renowned for conservative thought, but very traditional constitutional interpretations. So I respect his thoughtfulness, and as much as they are nonpartisan elections for judges, yet we know that it's still either conservative or liberal leaning. It should still be nonpartisan. So why people are just completely hung up on, nope, vote the party line. So that's inappropriate. It's be thoughtful, interpret the law based on your experience and your learning, your wisdom.
And what the words of the law say. So one of the interesting things for me is I've gotten to know Justice Brian Hagedorn because he's been on the show a few times, long form as well. We had some extended conversations. And this is just me saying this, and I'd love to hear your response, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. You used the term thoughtful. That's what this is. This is a justice who says, hold on a second. I'm not wearing the label of a party across my chest. I'm wearing the robes of a justice. I have to look at the issues. I have to look at the law. And I know a lot of legal scholars and experts don't like when I say this, but they do interpret those laws. If it was easy, if it was ironclad or fixed in stone, we wouldn't need justices because that's what the law is. But there's always interpretation to those words written down, whether it's 200 years ago or last week. And we have a little bit of Justice Hagedorn. He was on the program up front this weekend. Again, thoughtful guy. I think he's a great example, and I know this is controversial to some people, of what I think justices should be. The willingness to kind of jump ship from what a conservative side or a liberal side has to say about these things. Let's hear a little bit of that.
But there are some Republican voters, not judges, not those in the judiciary, I'm assuming, who have not been too happy with some of your rulings.
Sure. And again, it's not surprising, right? Because I do think that people have begun to have expectations for the court, that it simply is going to be kind of a rubber stamp for whatever political side it is. And regardless of what happens in the fall, I hope that we don't become that. And we haven't become that. I haven't been that. And I'm not going to be. And I ran against that. So maybe some people thought that was a wink and a nod, but it wasn't. I was telling the truth when I ran about what I believe about the role of the court, and the people who read what I've done have seen that.
This is why this irritates some people, some diehard, in this case, conservatives, because he's been viewed as a conservative justice. Because he challenges this preconceived notion that some members of my party, and even on the other side of the aisle with the liberal justices, that you have to vote this way. This is the way liberals or conservatives have to vote. And the true answer is, not really. Look at the law. What does it say? What is your best, most solid interpretation of those words? And then that's how you vote. That's how you rule. This is a classic example of how we get out of the malaise and the nonsense and the hyperbole and the hyperpartisanship of where we're at is by justices like Hagedorn. Now, the big question that's looming out there, and this is really where I want to hear from you, what will Justice Janet Protasiewicz be? I have a feeling she may be one of these more thoughtful justices. She may be a justice who's not just going to, for lack of a better term, just follow the party line, even though it's nonpartisan. We all know that. Even though we say that all the time, but we know that it's not, because more money was spent on this race than any other Supreme Court race.
And she ran a strong campaign on very strong issues.
Mm-hmm. She won by 11 points over former Justice Dan Kelly. That's a pretty solid win. That, you want to argue about the specifics of the law and the things these justices will rule on, that's the Wisconsin public saying loudly and clearly, you know what? We have two justices. We have Justice Dan Kelly and we have Justice Janet Protasiewicz. We agree with her by 11 points. How often in Wisconsin politics are we talking about margins over 10%? Not very often. That's rarefied air. That's rare ground to walk on. And I think this is part of where we see this. Hopefully, this is the optimist in me. This is where I see potential for softening of the hardened positions when it comes to the left and the right. Hopefully.
I was just going to say, and that's not a bad thing.
No, that's
the
a good
softening
thing.
may not sound good, but it's like, okay, if people can communicate and agree on things more often than take one extreme side and another extreme side, or question loyalty when that's not what it's about. It's not a party loyalty, especially when it's a nonpartisan judge. but there's a conservative way of thinking. There's a liberal way of thinking, but those also aren't hard and fast rules.
Let me use the political example. We just went through a period where the state of Wisconsin, the legislature, which is dominated by Republicans, almost veto-proof majorities, with a Democratic governor who also won pretty significantly, with local leaders who are Democrats, governor Democrat, and they were able to craft legislation that may potentially save Milwaukee from a fiscal cliff financial nightmare together, by working together. That's an example. That lends itself to a positive point of view when you look at the future of this state. Got a lot of texts. Love to hear from you on the phone as well. Sandy's alongside on this Monday, 855-616-1620. You're, of course, listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hello, reporting an accident on 40.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, at thehomemazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, this is Al calling. Southbound 894 is backed up all the way to Beloit Road.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
Hi, Debbie. It's Mark. There's an incident on the left shoulder, and it's a parking lot.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is a system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole has bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
With Rhino Shield ceramic coating, never paint your house again. Rhino Shield will keep 100% of the rain and 90% of the heat from penetrating your house. And it looks just like paint, but will last 5 times longer, and it's guaranteed for 25 years. Rhino Shield comes in any color. Get started today at rhinoshieldwis.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Interested in a career change with purpose and have a passion for giving back to the community? Choose a fulfilling career that helps other individuals, small businesses, and local nonprofits. Ritz Holman is a privately owned CPA firm looking for talented CPA professionals who are dedicated to being an active, vibrant member of the Southeast Wisconsin community. Ritz Holman maintains a genuine interest in each one of their clients and team members. Join the Ritz Holman team and learn more at ritzholman.com.
WTMJ Now.
Steve and Sandy Max on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, everybody. Week ahead, weather in southeastern Wisconsin looks fantastic, so get out there and enjoy it. We're talking about the changing, I was going to say changing of the guard, but changing of the justices. Patrice Roggensack retiring, I think as of Friday, tomorrow, Tuesday. The newest justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, Janet Protasiewicz, assumes the role of a justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Lots of looming decisions, right? Abortion, the future of the 1849 law, redistricting, all of the things, where the lines are drawn. Are they fair? Are they gerrymandered? And even things like election law, because we have an election next year, as everybody knows. Even some of those issues, things like ballot boxes, things on how we are vote, early voting, all of these things that have been very argumentative between the two sides, that may be part of their agenda as well.
Yeah, that election integrity is definitely key to trust in the whole system.
Right. It's kind of the foundation, the infrastructure of all that. All right, so somebody asked in the text line, so I'm just going to give it to you really quick. Define liberal conservative. There's multiple definitions. I'm going to give you the ones I think make the most sense. For liberal, a supporter of policies that are socially progressive and promote social welfare. For conservative, there's a multitude of definitions, some of them very negative, which I'm not going to do. I like this one the best. A person favoring free enterprise, private ownership versus governmental, and socially traditional ideas. I think that's a fair assessment of conservative values. To me. Bob wants to join us from Madison. Hi, Bob. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Say, Steve, I guess I'd like to call you out on the interview you had during the race with Janet Protasiewicz.
Okay.
You threw softballs. You didn't ask her a tough question. You didn't ask her those challenging questions.
Give me an example. Give me an example. What didn't I ask her? Keep in mind that I was also doing the interview with a television journalist, and each candidate was asked the same exact questions.
Well, you never asked her if she was going to vote the way she was saying.
No justice, Bob, would tell you how they're going to vote ahead of time, nor should they.
But you never called her out on what she was saying. So I guess
What was she saying that you?
lost a little respect for it.
What was she saying that you thought?
She was. Well, let's talk about abortion. Let's talk about the race and ballot harvesting, things like that. Those things that are illegal, and you never called her out. And I was expecting you to at least ask tough questions.
All of the questions. Everyone can define tough. Thanks for the call, Bob, and I respect that you disagree with me. I disagree with you, and I appreciate that. But here's the deal. Same questions for both sides. In this case, it was liberal-leaning justice, conservative-leaning justice. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I had one of the premier political reporters in the state of Wisconsin, Charles Benson, at my side for both interviews. And we asked about the issues he's talking about. We asked about abortion. We asked about ballot harvesting and all the election integrity issues. Whether they choose not to answer those questions in a way that Bob or anyone else likes is not my problem. We asked the questions. If you're looking for a Mike Wallace style where we just abuse the guest, and I'm using that depiction of Mike Wallace. I like Mike Wallace, the late great 60 Minutes reporter. That's not my style. I'm going to ask you the questions. I'll give you the time to answer them. And the forum that he's talking about is we brought the justices on so the audience, the listeners, could know who these people were. Whether it was Justice Daniel Kelly, who had already served on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, or Justice Janet Protasiewicz, who serves as a Milwaukee County judge and now will be the newest member of the Supreme Court.
It's important for him to get to know the people behind the 30-second commercials that you see and hear that are just the slogans and the bumper stickers and usually the attacks. So an opportunity to hear the real humans who you will be voting for is wonderful. And TMJ4's chief political reporter, Charles Benson, has much integrity and much institutional knowledge. And he is the kind of person who can have a smart follow-up question to try and get back on track, to get, to get an answer if there's skirting involved. But there's calling someone out and being confrontational usually isn't productive. And I still don't think Bob really described what calling out.
I think he basically wanted he wants me to do the talk radio version of an interview where you yell at the person. But let me remind Bob.
No one likes being yelled at.
Let me remind Bob what this show, my old show and this show currently is about. We bring on candidates from both sides. We let them speak. We don't shout over them. And I don't try to brainwash you. I always say, and I've said this since day one, you vote the way you want to. I don't tell you how to vote. I might predict a race because it's the fun of being on talk radio. You can predict a lot of things. I would argue that I've been pretty close on a lot of these things, including the election of Judge Janet Protasiewicz. So be careful with that.
Well, natural agreements and disagreements are naturally interesting, just like we hear every Friday morning in the Political Power Hour. And Joe Zepecki in particular got very animated in making points in this past weekend. So
I wanted to bring Bob on, even though he disagrees with me, because
definitely.
It's a classic example. Are you going to put your money where your mouth is? So if I say you're welcome to come on the show, whether you disagree or not, first call, Bob from Madison. That's the difference. Disagreeing the host is allowed here.
And it could potentially change a mind. You never know.
You never know, Bob.
Might share something with us that we hadn't thought of.
But let me be sincere. Bob, thanks for taking the time, and thanks for listening as well.
Yes.
And if I disappointed you, I'm sorry that I disappointed you. But both candidates were asked the same questions, and we did follow-ups on the very issues you mentioned that you weren't happy with the way we asked the questions. It's not about being confrontational. It's about asking the questions so the voters can decide which side they want. You can be angry about the results. Lots of conservatives are not happy that Tuesday the court shifts.
Or confrontational in an unproductive way.
Yeah.
You can confront an issue and make things uncomfortable and still try and get an answer or a truth or an opinion.
Yeah.
Just being confrontational is not fun.
All right. We'll do a little text cleanup, and then we're going to shift gears. Lots more to talk about, including the former president of the United States. I'm actually going to give him a little bit of a positive spin because he had a great rally over the weekend. But I want to also base this in the solid foundation of what's happening to the former president. There's a lot going on with his candidacy, including the legal impact of all of these multiple cases across multiple jurisdictions in the United States and in states across this country. We'll take a break here. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
The golden days of summer are here. More Brewers games, sun-drenched days of tailgating, and exhilarating summer nights are waiting for you at American Family Field. Embrace it all with your crew while Brewers baseball season reaches its peak. Because the best days of the year won't be here forever. Make the most of it and plan your game day at Brewers.com today.
Headlines, texts, emails, the TV, the computer, the phone, even your smartwatch, every day. Market volatility can lead to anxiety and planning paralysis. No surprise, Americans report being stressed about their investment and retirement plans. Turn down the media roar. Dial up the planning. Put Annex Wealth Management on your side for investment and retirement guidance that includes tax and estate planning. Head to AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Hey, Eric Bilstead here with WTMJ's Wisconsin's Morning News for J.D. Griffiths. They've been at it for more than 70 years. J.D. Griffiths has been Milwaukee's premier provider and builder of garage doors. My wife and I went to jdgriffiths.com, set ourselves up for a free at-home estimate. It was terrific. It was easy. And now we are the proud owners of 2 new garage doors customized to what we wanted. jdgriffiths.com is the website. And by the way, J.D. Griffiths does more than just brand new garage doors. They also service and repair current doors as well. JDGriffiths.com, again, is the website. So whether you're looking to upgrade your garage door for added customization, increase your home value, or need dependable service and repairs, J.D. Griffiths is here to help you make the most of this summer season and enjoy a hassle-free garage door experience. J.D. Griffiths and JDGriffiths.com. Get your free at-home estimate today.
WTMJ Now.
Moving forward, do you think it's wise for future Supreme Court candidates to reveal their values?
Well, when I ran, I didn't talk about that because I don't think that my personal policy views dictate the way I decide cases. What concerns me, I guess, a bit, and not so much speaking about this particular race, but the message that people receive is that the court is really an extension of the political apparatus or the political parties or the political agenda that people may have. And that shouldn't be true on the right. It shouldn't be true, on the left. So whatever happens, in a race, I think it's important for the public to know that we are deciding cases based on the law. At least that's what we ought to be doing at the end of the day. Because if courts are really just about achieving the outcomes then you want, then I think you should probably just get rid of us, at the end of the day. There's no reason to have courts if we are just going to be another policy check, on the legislature. So what I don't want is for the public to receive that message at the end of the day. As to how things play out when we decide cases, that remains to be seen.
Justice Brian Hagedorn on Channel 12's Up Front with Matt Smith. Matt does a great job on that program, and that's getting to the heart of it. Look, if you just want justices to rubber stamp what the political parties wants, then why have justices? It's silly and stupid. There's interpretation that has to happen with the words written down long ago, or even in the case of Wisconsin this year. That's the job. And I am encouraged by a Brian Hagedorn, not discouraged. So we had a caller, Bob from Madison, who challenged me. He said I asked easy softball questions. Texter responds, Judge Janet was the most open about her personal beliefs than any other judge nominee in 3 decades. I found it refreshing. So did Wisconsin by 11 points. Keep in mind, 11 points in a state that is essentially set up for Republicans to win easily in many of these races. Pretty impressive. And I would caution my Republican friends, of who I have many, from people who are adamant that Donald Trump is the answer to all of our political woes, to the opposite side of the political equation. Careful what you ask for. We have gotten in this mindset in this country where it's either our way, in case of the parties, or my way, in my case, of how I feel about something. The other side's evil, dangerous. That casting it in that manner is not helpful. And it's actually led to many of the woes we are currently experiencing. I'm encouraged by Justice Brian Hagedorn, willing to look outside the political spectrum. And I'm optimistic about Judge Jana Protasewicz at this point, because she hasn't even been sworn in yet, on what her future might bring to the court. Those are good things. That's a positive way to look at it. And if you know anything about this show, and now with Sandy Max on as part of WTMJ now, that's what we do. We will bring you the news, in this case, a justice talking about the future of the court, and we'll try to explain it in I think the easiest way possible. That's what we do.
And take your opinions.
Yes, and we've got plenty of them.
And discuss why it matters. And part of why this matters and being thoughtful in these very important Supreme Court decisions for our state is progressing, because we've seen what happens when one party, whoever it is, digs in their heels and the other one digs in their heels in response. It's all of us, the citizens, who suffer because nothing changes.
It's led to the absurdity of people thinking elections were stolen or rigged or, my goodness, for a while we've been trotting out the MyPillow guy as the expert on election policy across the United States. On its face, that should make you laugh because he's a TV pitch man, right? But in the substance of it, that was somebody who had access to the highest office in this country, close personal access to the former president of the United States. That's dangerous, because I will argue, and I will do this in person if you ever run into me.
At Wisconsin State Fair, Thursday and Friday.
That kind of access is not a positive. Presidents are better when they listen to subject matter experts, people who have been in and around these areas for a long time. MyPillow guy has never been and probably never will be an election integrity expert. Just my thoughts. I'm not sure he knows how to run a business properly, to be honest with you, other than,
he's doing okay. When I had my cold last week and was watching daytime TV. No, but I saw commercials on TV, so he's doing all right.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to shift gears to the former president. This is a very important time in his candidacy. Why do I say that? Well, polling suggests, and it's just polling, no votes have been cast yet in primaries, that he's as popular as a candidate as he's ever been. Margins that we've probably almost never seen before. Up 30 in some polls, up 40 or 50 in other polls, against all the other Republicans who are running for president. But at the same time, facing legal challenges across multiple jurisdictions, Department of Justice, in Washington, D.C., in Fulton County, Georgia. You already know the New York story because that's already been indicted. That indictment's come out. So all of that looming, I really ask a simple question. Does any of this really matter? And I guess my answer, Sandy, and you can share yours after, I don't think it does at this moment.
Does it matter to his candidacy?
Yeah.
Is what you mean. It matters.
Of course. To his candidacy, which is what we're talking about. Yeah. Does it matter? I don't think so. We'll get to that and more after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Arvid, what's with all the caution tape?
No idea, Nicole. Step back from the table.
Ben, what's going on?
I'm warning people not to look at the Sandra table from Penny Mustard. Why? Because this table is not for the faint of heart.
Well, the Sandra is far from ordinary.
But it is extraordinary.
There's something about the way natural light reflects off the iron to give it a one-of-a-kind look.
If you prefer the appearance of a traditional dining room table, do not seek out the Sandra table in our showroom. Ben. And should you choose to search for the Sandra table on pennymustard.com, we are not responsible for feelings of shock, awe, confusion, surprise, bewilderment, speechlessness, flabbergastedness, and or ennui.
Wow.
You've been warned. Come see the uncommonly awesome Sandra table, starting at $30.94, paired with sophisticrafted steward chairs for just $3.65 each, only at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
Pennymustard.com. Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmett Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Now's a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows. Why put it off? The lines are shorter, and we'll be ready to take on your next project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
I'm certified financial planner Tony Drake with Drake & Associates. If you're retired or looking to retire soon, have you developed a strategy to minimize or eliminate the taxes when you start pulling money out of your IRA or 401k? If you haven't, then you have a very vulnerable plan because taxes are going up in the future. And if you look at the spending our government does, taxes could rise even more. Find out what's missing in your retirement strategy by requesting a copy of my Retirement Ready Toolkit that's loaded with materials designed to help protect you from taxes. Call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982 to get your free toolkit today.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
It's WTMJ Now.
Thanks for tuning in on this Tuesday, Stephen, Sandy, Max. We're going to do some fun stuff, too. Sandy went to see the Barbie movie over the weekend. And I'm really curious how much man-hating went on in this thing. And I'm just kind of being tongue-in-cheek here. I know I've heard a lot of good things about the movie. I actually thought it was some of the stuff I've seen has been pretty funny.
It had funny. I'll save my review. It's coming up right after 10 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. So the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, had a big rally in Pennsylvania. That was one of the states that delivered his victory in 2016. You remember? The surprise over Hillary Clinton.
Was that the only election that wasn't rigged, right?
Yeah, that one was good.
2016 was...
Yeah, I think that was good.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that. So he shows up in Erie. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple highlights. I'm not going to play them, but he has brushed off all of the legal trouble that he's in as a witch hunt. A term he's used throughout the Russian investigation, all the other things that he's been involved in. He called the current president, I couldn't say the actual words, a dumb SOB on several times during the presentation. He called Joe Biden the most corrupt president in American history. And just generally basically referred to the Bidens as the Biden crime family. Now, it is somewhat ironic that someone that's facing multiple indictments in multiple jurisdictions would use that terminology. You think you might just want to go easy on that, but not this former president. He's all in. And I am fascinated because I don't think it's hurting his candidacy at all. Literally, when he said he could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue.
That still haunts me, but it haunts me because he was, probably right.
Yes. At this point...
And the full bombastic quote was, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would convict me.
Yeah. And I think he's not that far off. So I guess the question...
I don't want him to prove that.
No, I don't either.
Let's just keep shooting your mouth off instead of anything else.
Yeah, and the question I have for everybody is basically, does any of this, do you think, change his candidacy? He's still showing very strong. I would argue, and I have consistently throughout this whole process, as he's announced his candidacy, it's one thing to win the nomination. It's a vastly different thing to win on Election Day and be the next president. In this case, it'd be a second term. Vastly different. Because I think he's lost independence. I can tell you, reading the text line, reading my emails, talking to people away from the show, he's lost a great number of conservatives who have, frankly, had enough of the nonsense. Now, someone asked me a great question the other day, and I forgot where I was, restaurant. And I think it's really pertinent to this. we've had it drummed. Some people have had it drummed into their heads over the last, whatever the Trump time period has been, 8 years, whatever, when he's really been well known as a political figure. He was well known before that for real estate and TV.
Mm-hmm.
Is that constant reminder of the bombastic, say anything, drain the swamp, spare no feelings, that mindset, I think fed by some talk radio, not all, but some, has that led to this essentially Teflon coating that he has that he's invincible? Nothing can take him down other than maybe a jail cell. And maybe that's not even the case.
It's been fascinating to watch. And the other aspect to that is a lot of times he says something absolutely contradictory. And it
doesn't seem to matter.
No, none of it does. So and he just keeps pulling out as far as, and who is being polled? It's the other question. Because you're saying conservatives are leaving on, and then we see all of these potential Republican presidential candidates doing a delicate dance because they don't want to be seen as absolutely calling Trump out because what
Except
Trump
Chris
is.
Christie.
But everyone else is doing a dance.
Yeah, because they want to entertain or court that group, that 35% of the population, or in some cases the 60% of the Republican majority of that population, or minority, I should say. So there's that courting that goes on. I will put this in the context of when I used to ask the candidates for Wisconsin governor questions about election integrity. They would all defer and say, well, we have to get to the bottom of this, not really ever answering that question. And that was something I was probably more so than anybody here was talking about a lot, this fact that we had this major concern supposedly about elections, and then it turned out really nothing to really see. And unless I'm wrong, and somebody can raise their hand out there, figuratively speaking, if you have this evidence that we've all been waiting for, the election was stolen or rigged. Was the election perfect? No. No election is. Do I have full confidence in the clerks and the election administrators in this state? Absolutely.
Because the scrutiny is even tougher on those workers now.
As high as it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
With some pretty high-profile races, gubernatorial races, with Governor Evers winning the last one against Tim Michels, with the Senate race, Ron Johnson, and now we have the upcoming one with Tammy Baldwin, and at some point a candidate for
to be named later.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising, kind of shocking. We know a lot of people wanted Mike Gallagher, the congressman from northeast Wisconsin. He said no, probably wisely, given the temperature in the room of politics today. If you have a thought, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. I don't want to beat up the president. Somebody sent me a nice email this morning. Again, I love when they disagree and they're thoughtful. And they said, you should say something nice about Donald Trump. Here's something nice about Donald Trump, sort of. His ability to get people to donate money to his efforts is almost untouchable. People still, $100 donations, $20 donations, $300 donations, almost untouchable.
His NFT cards that we all thought were bizarre and laughable, I suppose they're collector's items now. They all sold out.
And the other compliment is he has tapped into a feeling among some Americans that they are not being served. And that started with Drain the Swamp. It's got a whole different feel and taste to it now. He's tapped into that. He's representing that group. And I have zero problem with that. If you are not happy with the United States, on whatever side of the aisle you're on, you want to be represented. So whether that's extreme left or extreme right or whatever is in the middle, that's a good thing. But here's the thing. I say this all the time. Follow the law. Don't cheat. Don't lie. And serve the public. The best interest of the public. I'm not sure that's the Donald Trump story. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Come on, homie, we major. We major?
No, he's Major. Major Garrett, that is.
Russia and its calculus behind what it thought it would achieve in Ukraine has almost, if not totally, unraveled.
CBS News' chief Washington correspondent joins Wisconsin's Afternoon News every Tuesday at 3:45.
Now he's going to have to face this indictment and go through a criminal judicial process. It's a heavy day for the entire country.
Right here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. on Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. Would you like your employees to be better leaders, improved critical thinkers, and become more self-aware? LAK Group's coaching services can help. Their coaching has led to impressive, sustainable organizational change, and it's founded on the International Coaching Federation's core principles, aligning individual performance to the needs of your company. Find out how LAK Group's coaching can help you. Visit transformingcareers.com. LAK Group. Discover your human advantage.
I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
So if you're already in a relationship with an auto service center, that's great. We hope things keep firing on all cylinders.
But if you're not in a relationship, why not book your next date with us at Richlands? The next time you're due for service.
All of our locations are AAA approved and staffed by ASC certified technicians with PhDs in
We can fix anything! Put that on top of the friendliest, hardest working staff you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center.
and you've got yourself a rock-solid date.
The next time you're due for factory scheduled maintenance,
Or tires, brakes, and suspension service.
book your date at richlawns.com.
Or just Google us. But remember, Richlands is spelled with 2 N's.
And oh yeah, be safe, buckle up, and hey.
Always make sure you have good tread on your tires. I'm Courtney Matchkey with Richlands, and you're due for a date.
Clever.
Richlands Tire and Service. Such a refreshing change. Richlands.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
Did a little Trump talk in the end of the 9 o'clock hour. Thanks for taking the time and spending it with us. However you find us over the air, online, streaming, all that stuff. We do as much as possible. Although I did have a problem with Twitter this morning, which I apologize for. I can't tweet right now. I am tweetless.
You're X-free.
Yeah.
Maybe Elon heard you.
I don't know what.
Told him stupid
am I
last
banned?
week.
I mean, what's going on? Double end? What's going on here? So I have to rectify that situation after the show. I got this text from the 715. I want to read it, and then we're going to go to break for the news. No other candidate can get any airtime unless it's about Trump. The media don't ask anything about policy, only about Trump. I blame the media. We have other candidates out there besides Trump, but who would know it? I take some exception to that. Not that I'm a huge fan of CNN, but they've had most of the other candidates in town hall settings on their network. I would argue that's what networks should do. When we don't have votes yet, you should talk to all the candidates, although polling suggests that Donald Trump, for Republicans, is the walking away favorite here. And like any horse race, you're going to cover the winner, not the horse or the jockey that finished in like 17th place at the Kentucky Derby. It's not that interesting of a story. It might be, but that's not going to get covered. So just like that, I think that's where we're going to be at politically. Kind of the reality. Here's what I do know. There'll be lots of Trump talk going forward because as of today, I think he's going to win the nomination, barring any unforeseen political hijinks. And the big looming question, I know we got to get to break here. Think about this for a future show. Will indictments, multiple indictments, convictions force a plea deal that essentially asks the former president, would you give up the right to run for president if we don't put you in jail? That question is really, really important and one he may have to face. The news is next on 620 WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Interested in a career change with purpose and have a passion for giving back to the community? Choose a fulfilling career that helps other individuals, small businesses, and local nonprofits. Ritz Holman is a privately owned CPA firm looking for talented CPA professionals who are dedicated to being an active, vibrant member of the Southeast Wisconsin community. Ritz Holman maintains a genuine interest in each one of their clients and team members. Join the Ritz Holman team and learn more at ritzholman.com.
Trees on the Move, offering ideas for outdoor living and beautifying yards with landscape design and installation, including retaining walls, paver patios, tree trimming, and more. Trees on the Move has been offering landscape services for over 43 years and now offers stamped and colored concrete drives, patios, and sidewalks. Learn more at treesonthemove.com.
Planning to planting, trees on the move.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Baseball may be America's favorite pastime, but the Nationals are not America's favorite baseball team.
And Tyrone, a high drive, left field, Benson back, track, gone! Taylor with a two-run shot.
The Brewers are in D.C. with game coverage starting this afternoon at 5:30 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
10:01, we have 76 degrees, mostly sunny today with maybe some haze this afternoon, a high of 79 from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Connie Weber. At least 16 people were displaced in Fond du Lac County following a weekend apartment fire at the Meadowlark Apartments in Tachita. Calumet Fire Chief Brian Schussman says one person had to dive out of the building from a second-story window to escape the rapidly growing blaze.
Our first arriving engine crew did a primary search of the first and second floor, went back in to start fire suppression at that point, and I had to pull them because the fire had advanced so rapidly across the entire top half of the structure.
The Red Cross assisting the displaced residents. That fire happened on Sunday. About 2,800 We Energies customers still without power this morning after last week's severe weather. A hot apartment with no power being called a possible cause of death of an 84-year-old Milwaukee man over the weekend. Milwaukee police say Alton Smith was found by his niece lying on the living room floor next to his oxygen tank. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's report says the apartment was fairly hot and had no power, possibly due to the severe storms on Friday night. Autopsy results are pending. That record-breaking heat wave making its way through the South. Heat indexes, which factor in humidity, could soar above triple digits this week across Texas, Louisiana, Florida. In the Southwest, Phoenix has now topped 110 degrees for 31 straight days. The so-called doomsday cult mom Lori Vallow Daybell faces sentencing today in an Idaho courtroom, convicted of killing her two children, claiming they were zombies. ABC's Derek Dennis has that story.
Vallow Daybell's brother Adam Cox tells ABC News he's heartbroken.
We're all, hurt, devastated.
Prosecutors argued Lori was on a quest for money, power, and sex and was willing to remove anyone who got in her way. After a 6-week trial, a jury unanimously found Lori guilty of murdering her 7-year-old son, JJ, and her 16-year-old daughter, Tylee. With no death penalty in Idaho, Lori is expected to receive consecutive life sentences.
President Biden's on vacation and Congress is on their August recess, but the Biden administration is making a big push to highlight key legislation the president signed into law and how it's affecting the economy.
President Biden is taking a summer vacation this week, spending time with family at his beach home in Rehoboth, Delaware. But members of his cabinet and senior White House officials will start to travel across the country this week as part of a month-long effort to tout his economic agenda, or Bidenomics, and key legislative achievements. The president hits the road next week, traveling to Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, where a White House official says he'll tout how the Inflation Reduction Act is tackling the climate crisis and creating jobs in clean energy and manufacturing. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
More than $40 million has been spent on legal fees, but this year by former President Trump's Political Action Committee. Multiple reports indicate that number is more than double the amount Save America spent on legal fees in all of 2022. Most of the money used to defend the former president, his advisors, and others comes from small dollar donations from Trump's supporters. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 50 points, S&P 500 is up 6, and the NASDAQ Composite is up 35. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
We want to decrease your pain as fast as possible. When we inject our powerful, FDA-approved anti-inflammatory and cushioning medicine precisely guided to the root of your pain, in most cases, relief in hips, shoulders, elbows, and knees is a reality. For those who go through our entire process, we can very much control and reduce your pain while increasing your quality of life. Thousands of Rejuvenix patients maintain their pain relief with semi-annual to annual treatments, proven to reduce inflammation, to make pain a lot more bearable. Some providers may charge up to $8,000 for similar treatments. At Rejuvenix, because we're in network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, your out-of-pocket expense could be as low as $400 or less, or nothing at all. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics, where you can find pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Get huge savings this weekend only during Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Stock up on all your favorites, like 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $13.99. 40-pound bags of Superior Premium Grade Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $10. 40 pounds of Diamond Crystal Iron Fighter Water Softener Pellets, only $5.89. Or pick up a Sterilite 18-gallon storage tote, on sale just $4.99. We have what you need for your everyday life. Fleet Farm.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
The technology frustrations we hear about, hands down, ease of use. We take that complexity out of it and keep it down to the bare minimum of what they need and what they use. Our goal is to lend a level of simplicity that any knowledge level can walk into that room and at a glance know exactly how to turn that room on and utilize all of its features.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
It was a weekend Brewers fans will soon want to forget as the Atlanta Braves busted out the Brooms to complete the series sweep of Milwaukee with the 8-6 win over the Brewers on Sunday afternoon. With the loss, the Brewers now trailing the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central Division by half a game. Over to the NFL as the Green Bay Packers wrapped up week 1 of training camp on Sunday. Beginning today, the Pads coming on in Titletown as head coach Matt LaFleur ensures the standard remains high for his football team in Green Bay.
The expectations are this, that guys go out there and compete to the best of their ability each and every day, that they come here with a great attitude and great energy, and and embrace this grind.
Day 5 of training camp will get underway later today. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Drive times into downtown look good. The zoo into downtown about a 5-minute drive. 43 southbound from Brown Deer Road to the Marquette Interchange running about 11. 94 northbound from Layton Avenue to the Marquette Interchange 6. One slight delay due to some construction work. I-894 westbound from the Mitchell Interchange to the Hale Interchange. It's going to take you maybe an extra couple of minutes, about a 7-minute drive this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Help your fellow commuters. Report accidents and slowdowns to the Hall Mazda traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Mazda during Mazda's season of discovery.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today with some afternoon and evening haze possible. A high 79. Mostly clear tonight. Low 63. Sunny, hazy tomorrow. High 82. Partly cloudy Wednesday. Slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower and thunderstorm. High of 85. Thursday, the same. Slight chance of showers and storms. Partly cloudy, breezy with a high of 88. Friday, sunshine and a high of 82. Right now, Madison 74, Green Bay 73, Milwaukee 76. I'm Connie Weber, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:09.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
Let's say happy Monday anyway. Let's just say it. Even though people are irritated about politics. Look, not that I want to spend more than 30 seconds on this. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to tell you what I think. And Sandy is here to tell you that as well. Somebody said we have a playbook about politics. Is this the playbook? Is this one piece you must say this about...
You're getting snarky. It made me laugh. I was like, is there a playbook? I just started WTMJ Now a couple of weeks ago.
Where is that damn playbook? I haven't seen it.
Please forward me your copy.
And I said in the CNN, someone else was mad that I praised... I said they had all the candidates, most of them, on their show for an hour extended.
Yeah, you were making the point because someone else had texted in that that's all the media is asking other candidates about is Donald Trump and their opinions of him. And you had made that example of the town hall meetings on CNN, not, hey, pat them on the back.
Did Fox do that? I don't know, maybe. If they did, let me know.
The only town hall for no liberals, listen to me, no liberals, no labels party was on Scripps Media. So
who knows?
You got to really dig to find some of these find some of this information.
All right, unless you're in a cave or outside doing other things, the week of Barbie, the weekend of Barbie continued. Here's some numbers. $93 million between Friday and Sunday at box office.
I was part of that.
You were part of that.
Yes. I took my best friend on her birthday eve and my boyfriend to Barbie.
All right, what did Mike think?
Curiosity
What did Mike think
me.
about the movie?
He enjoyed it. He had fun.
Did he laugh out loud?
Yes, because are you familiar with the actor Michael Cera? He played George Michael Bluth in Arrested Development, and he's been in many other things, including on Broadway. He plays a doll named Alan. You know, there's a Ken doll. Well, it turns out there was a male doll once named Alan.
Really? Is that a real thing, or they just make it up?
I have not researched this, but he is very funny in this film as Alan.
Well, I remember the credits. I don't know if you say for the credits, the first sequence had a lot of the supposed like real dolls of it. Like, you remember the weird Barbie scene with the pooping dog? I remember the commercial for that.
So producer Charlie also saw Barbie over the weekend, so we have not had a chance to compare notes.
I have not seen it.
I think it's a fun movie.
I do too. I saw it with fellow producers Sam and her boyfriend, and it was a lot of laughs. It had a good ending.
So you laughed out loud. What was the theater's response as you're watching the film? Loud laughter?
I wouldn't say loud. It wasn't a very packed theater. I imagine it was much more packed the first opening weekend, but the second weekend there was definitely some chuckles. There was a joke about the Snyder Cut of Justice League that got both me and Sam's boyfriend laughing.
Okay. So it was the 7th biggest second weekend in movie history.
Because usually a film drops with their box office receipts by like half.
Yeah.
And that second
it did have a drop, but I mean, you're still talking $93 million. So, I mean, you saw the film.
I give it a thumbs up. It's fun. It's certainly vivid colors. There are laughs, but I will tell you, it's very well written. And there are 2 times in the film, one where I did have to blow my nose. I wept. And then another
you cried
one,
in a Barbie movie.
I did.
Why in the world would you be crying during a comedy?
Because there is a powerful monologue by a mom, and she's played by America Ferrara. And it's meaty. It goes on for a while. And
give me a sense of what. Don't spoil it, but give me a sense of what it was about.
The dynamics of being a woman in the workforce and in just going through life. For example, one of the lines is, "Well, you've got to be pretty enough to kind of flirt and make your way through, but you can't be too pretty and make the other girls mad." Just the dynamics of it was so well written that it wasn't pity party. It was so well written that it just resonated, and you could hear other sniffles throughout the theater. I mean, it just really encapsulated how much of a challenge of you're encouraged to be a mom, but then look down on if you have to take off of work early to pick up your kids, or you dote on your children and want to show photos. It was a lot of the dichotomy and struggles of trying to fit everybody's definition of what a career woman or the right woman is. And so it was very powerful, and it caught me off guard. I'd seen some headlines about, oh, wait till you see this monologue. So I was like, okay, I wonder where it's coming, and why it delivered.
Does this movie hit the sweet spot of humor, which is kind of the reason for the movie, and also the social relevance that I think the creators of the film were trying to get to?
Yeah. And because in comedy, I also didn't expect to see Will Ferrell in it, who's the right amount of Will Ferrell, in my opinion. You can get too much of him, but it was the right amount of Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel. I thought it was very well done. It's very fun. And then the other profound moment to me is it's a line, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's a line where a woman says, "That's what a mother does. She stays behind so you can look back and see how far you've come." And it just hit me. I was like, oh, mothers make such sacrifices. So it's just very well written. It is crazy eye candy. There's a lot of fun. But you were telling me there were some, so I give it a thumbs up. It's one of the most bizarre movies I've seen. I did see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was one of the ultimately bizarre.
I gave it like 20 minutes. I said I can't watch this.
That was a heck of a ride. It is not to that level of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Should I read into the fact that in this about 8-minute conversation you haven't mentioned Ryan Gosling's name once?
I've never been a big Ryan Gosling. I watched he's in The Notebook, right? Like, I enjoy that film.
Yeah, he's also Ken in the movie.
But I will tell you that you asked what Mike's reaction was, my boyfriend, and he thinks that Ryan Gosling can do no wrong. Like, he's had such a versatile career.
Tremendously talented actor.
All the way into this role, and he sang a song that Mike liked about, because one of the real themes is it's not necessarily girl power. It is finding yourself and what your purpose is. Whether you're Barbie and a type of Barbie, or whether you're Ken. Like, Ken's whole struggle is that he's only defined by, he's Barbie's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how many times have you been called somebody else's girlfriend? You know, it's like, it's a more human message of finding your role and finding your purpose and who you are and what you're, not necessarily what you're good at, but what your essence and who you are.
All right, we're entertaining your thoughts on if you've seen the movie, or if you're one of the conservatives who apparently are mad about it.
I didn't see that.
I'm not mad about it. I haven't seen enough. I haven't only seen the trailer, so I don't know enough about the movie to have a really specific comment about it. I do know that some conservatives are saying it's essentially man-hating. I hope it's not that.
I didn't get that out of it. You know who else is funny in it? Kate McKinnon is in it as
she's
weird
funny in
Barbie.
everything. Yeah, she's funny in anything she does. She's funny.
She's very acrobatic in it as well.
I think she's a big yoga person.
She must be, because she's basically in the splits for most of the...
What was the movie with the Beatle movie where she plays the agent? Yesterday's?
Oh.
She does yoga in that movie. It's fascinating. All right, we'll take a break. Sandy Max, Steve on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Couldn't make it to the game?
Here, try this.
If you live in Milwaukee, Racine, Waukesha, Ozaki, or Washington County,
Get up!
you can stream Bob Uecker and the Brewers on your phone, tablet, or computer.
Struck him out looking.
Using the WTMJ app or at WTMJ.com.
A little different from when you played, Ueck. Yeah, those big old payphones we had. Ah, man.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I've told you about snoring issues, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. That doesn't have to be your story. I did something about it. I went to Advent. I found out about them. I found they could actually fix some of the things that ail us when we talk about sleep and getting enough sleep to make us nice and positive and not angry during the day. There's more to that story, but we'll get to that later. After a really simple sleep study at home, they determined the root cause of my problem. I do my sinuses and nasal passage and my breathing triangle. After a short procedure in office, I'm back to breathing well. As good as I've slept, by the way, in decades. Again, last night, 7 hours, no problem. If you struggle like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. Go to one of their facilities. Ask the questions. Feel confident that they can get you back on the path to sleeping better. Go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Losing sleep lately? The job, the house, the headlines, or investments? How about the feeling your investment partner isn't a partner at all? They might be operating in someone's best interest, but that someone isn't you. It's time for Annex Wealth Management. It's easy. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. We work in your best interest as a fiduciary. That commitment runs so deep, we put it in writing. Does your advisor do that? Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Start at AnnexWealth.com.
With Rhino Shield ceramic coating, never paint your house again. Rhino Shield will keep 100% of the rain and 90% of the heat from penetrating your house. And it looks just like paint, but will last 5 times longer, and it's guaranteed for 25 years. Rhino Shield comes in any color. Get started today at RhinoShieldWIS.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
WTMJ Now.
Oh, Producer Charlie on point today. Talking about the Barbie movie. I didn't see it. I was busy grand kidding, and Sandy Mack saw it with
my boyfriend and my best friend. Yeah. It was a good time.
Did everyone like it equally, or were you like on the top? And yeah.
It was. I went, to be entertained.
Yeah, and were you entertained?
Not challenged.
Are you not
necessarily.
entertained?
Yeah, I was definitely entertained. I thought it was very creative. And also, here's what I find entertaining. 2 of the most entertaining films I've seen in the theater this year. Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig. And I went with Wisconsin's Morning News to go see Cocaine Bear earlier this year, directed by Elizabeth Banks. Both of these movies are a heck of a ride. Not necessarily take your kids to them, but they're a lot of fun.
Well, Texter said the movie's dark and not for kids. What do you make of that?
It's certainly not for kids. There are a lot of conversations that are going to go over their heads.
What would the number be?
I don't know.
14,
I'm not
16?
a parent. I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't go there. To give advice on that. But there are a lot of adult conversations, just talking about finding yourself and not being happy, and I wouldn't say it's dark.
It's very existential.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody in an email suggests the movie is hypersexual. Did you get that from the movie?
No.
There's no defining what they meant by hypersexual, but hypersexual.
No.
Okay.
Because it's sort of, well, I wouldn't, because there's no kissing. It's a lot of people in fun clothing dancing.
Well, spoiler alert, but neither one of them has genitals, so let's...
And they say that immediately in the film.
Yeah.
It's about as sexual as people criticize Barbie of being already.
That's a good point, Charlie.
A lot of cotton candy colors and a lot of singing and dancing.
And
sparkles.
Since one of the texters made the point about Greta Gerwig being the writer and director, I believe, right? One of the writers and the director of the film. Is that correct? I think so.
I know she directed it. Again.
Okay. So does that speak to a bigger story? The power of women in Hollywood has changed. Post, Me Too, we've seen the rise of women directors, women producers, certainly. That part of Hollywood has been neglected and ignored for as long as there's been Hollywood. That's changing. And when someone does $93 million second weekend, seventh biggest second weekend of all time, that suggests the story is being rewritten in Hollywood, and maybe that's a good thing. As someone who sits here, I don't say it all the time, but I say women are smarter than men. I say it for a number of reasons. People always ask me, why do you say that? I think women are more level-headed. They're less reactionary. They are certainly the foundation of most families. They put in the time on all the stuff that, let's be honest, men don't want to do. Now, you can argue about the traditional roles versus the new roles that we've all assumed. Men used to be the breadwinner. That's changed, of course. Men and women both working outside the home. That dynamic's changed. Does this movie speak to a sort of an awakening for women or a newly defined role as someone who's not just the mom, not just the woman in the relationship, but someone who's got equal footing in our society? Does it speak to that?
It does, because Barbie Land is all women being president and Nobel Peace Prize winners and Supreme Court. And it's when Barbie has to go to the real world for this big reason that she discovers, she thinks it's the same thing, and that she's going to be hugged, and people are going to be like, oh, you're the reason that the world is so great, because you inspired us to be astronauts and teachers and whatever we wanted to be. And so it's a harsh reality check when she and Ken come to the real world and people are not hugging her, and that the world is not, it is a patriarchy. It is not ruled by women. So it addresses those things. But I think if you're, great, there's probably going to be a college class about this, dissecting it. And
of course,
and maybe that's a good thing. I always say art is there to start conversations that can be difficult. I am not walking away from it going, I'm offended. I'm not walking away from it going, oh, it was too glib or just too anything. I had fun. It had points to make. I was moved at certain parts. And even though the movie ended, the 920, who also said the Barbie movie was dark and not for kids, also texted it was too serious and the ending was weird. Like, I wasn't so emotionally invested in any of it that, I didn't love the ending either, but it was I found it a little unnecessary, yet I know it was the exclamation point on the script for someone, and I'm not going to give it away, but it was just I don't ever need to see it again, but I'm really glad I saw it now.
So what do you make of the Ben Shapiro's of the world who say this is basically a man-hating film?
I think it probably says more about that person if they took it that sensitively and they were that offended, then maybe take a beat and think about how you treat the women in your life, whether it's your mom or your sister or your daughters or your nieces or your coworkers. If you felt threatened by this movie, it probably says more about how you treat women.
It's also a film that has two of the major stars in Hollywood, one comedic, one serious, Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Two of the biggest actors in this country. Last time I checked, both men. It's not like they just avoided men and didn't put them in there.
No, there's plenty of men.
Yeah, so...
Plenty of men.
I think
Alan.
Yeah, and Alan, this Alan kid. Who played that?
Michael Cera.
Yeah. If you have a thought on Barbie, we've got a little bit of time, 855-616-1620. Somebody made a comment, so I'll give them the respect it deserves because they made the comment on our Old National Bank talking text line. Really liked the Barbie movie, but the very beginning was a bit violent towards innocent baby dolls. So is that a spoiler alert? I don't know.
It actually was. I was surprised that they were going to break up baby dolls, but they did. It's sort of an homage to, is it, what's the movie that has Hal in it?
2001?
Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Remember when the primates bash things? It was reminiscent of that.
Oh, like that.
It was a bit of a tribute. It was a bit of a nod to that, in my opinion.
I hear there's nods to a number of films.
I'm sure there are. Just like Charlie mentioned the Marvel movie line.
No, there's like 12 different references to other famous films throughout Barbie. You might not even realize
But that's what I mean. And that's like a good Simpsons episode. It's high comedy and it's low comedy. You may not always get the reference, but as long as it's funny.
Actually, I'll Google it during the break, see if I can pin it down. I read something over the weekend because I knew we were going to talk about this, about those references. I'll see if I can get to some of that. After this, you're listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Wake up with me. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Mansick. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 8:15 during Wisconsin's Morning News. Everything you need to know about all your favorite Wisconsin teams in just 60 seconds.
Yelich bounces one to right. It's a base hit, and the Brewers win.
Every Monday and Friday at 8:15 during Wisconsin's Morning News.
The expectations are this, that guys go out there and compete to the best of their ability each and every day, and embrace this grind.
Sponsored by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac.
This is Congressman Brian Stile. I'm hosting a free event in South Milwaukee on preventing identity theft and detecting scams. My free scam prevention event will be on Tuesday, August 1st at 11 a.m. in the South Milwaukee Council Chambers. Please join me, Congressman Brian Stile, in my free event on August 1st at 11 a.m. in South Milwaukee. If you have any questions, please visit stile.house.gov.
Paid for by funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
This is the year to buy the woman you love a big anniversary diamond.
What's a big anniversary diamond?
A big anniversary diamond is any diamond that's at least twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Why twice as big?
A big anniversary diamond says, I love you twice as much today as the day I married you.
People are always so happy when they see the price we can give them.
Kessler's has wonderful prices on 1 carat, carat and a half, 2 carat, and 3 carat big anniversary diamonds.
People will ask you about your big diamond everywhere you go.
So big anniversary diamonds are the hot new trend?
It began with men buying big anniversary diamonds for the women they love. But now it's gone to a whole new level.
Women are now buying big anniversary diamonds for their men.
Women are saying 2 can play that game.
I like games that 2 can play.
Everybody likes games that 2 can play.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
When you're at State Fair this year, be sure to check out the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater, State Fair's largest free entertainment venue. Featuring acts like Kids from Wisconsin, Here Come the Mummies and Pat McCurdy, Bank 5-9 is a proud sponsor of the fair and a proud supporter of the local Wisconsin communities they have served since 1859. So grab your bucket of lemonade or beer, something on a stick, and join Bank 5-9 between August 3rd and the 13th. Member FDIC.
It's WTMJ Now.
Steve and Sandy on this Monday edition of WTMJ Now. Thanks for taking the time to join us. So we're talking about the Barbie movie. Sandy saw it over the weekend. I have not. I mentioned that I was doing some reading because I knew we were going to talk about this. There are references to a lot of famous films in the Barbie movie. You mentioned the 2001 Space Odyssey. The Matrix? Remember that?
I don't remember the reference.
No?
I didn't pick
How
up
about
on
The
it.
Godfather?
Yes.
And what?
Yes.
Can you do it in a general sense? Or I don't want to give too much.
It's not a...
It's like a clip they show, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they literally talk about, we're going to watch the movie The Godfather. So there's nothing subtle about that one.
Yeah, it is a Warner Brothers movie, so they do like to show a lot of their properties in it, but they're doing it a lot more subtly than compared to something like Space Jam or the Lego movie.
What about Wizard of Oz?
I don't remember the Wizard of Oz reference.
That's in there.
I don't
It's
either.
one of my favorite films.
And a reference to Michelangelo's famous painting, The Creation of Adam.
Well, that would make sense because they're talking about what our purpose is and that sort of thing.
I'm fascinated by the reaction, and we're going to move on in a bit here, but it is fascinating to see both the positive and the negative. Here's my take on Hollywood. That's why I don't put much stock in film reviewers, because I really don't care what you think about the film. I can read about the film online in a more general sense. Your personal belief about a film doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go see it or not see it based on my ideas about what I think this film could be. I want to be entertained. I want to laugh if it's a comedy. I want to be scared on my, you know what? If it's
Socks.
a sci-fi thriller, alien type movie, or if it's a dark drama, I want to be on the edge of my seat. That's the point of going to the movies. And I don't need it to be filtered by talking heads, subject matter experts, film reviewers, critics. I just don't need it.
Well, some people want it because they want to spend their money wisely. And if you're going to spend 3 hours at the movies and a chunk of change on concessions and tickets, you want to go see something that you think you might like.
Somebody texted me on my individual line, by the way, friend of mine. This is Save Hollywood. These movies. Oppenheimer, still doing some strong numbers. Barbie, Barbenheimer.
Well, it can save Hollywood all at once if the SAG-AFTRA actors and writers strike doesn't get resolved sooner than later. It will still stall everything out. We talked to Greg Marcus of Marcus Corporation and Marcus Theaters a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that sweet spot is 125 films being released in a year were what made a business, a movie theater business profitable. And will that hit a snag and then only have a reduced number of releases? So I wouldn't say it saved Hollywood. I think it's a bigger picture than that, but it certainly has been one of the most fun summer seasons, because last year I think we just had really Top Gun Maverick, which was the rage. And I'll tell you, it is fun though, because you can tell who's going to see Barbie. Somebody's wearing something pink. Like, it's fun to kind of lean into that. And then Haunted Mansion was also playing at the theater I went to, and I was seeing a bunch of people in like black lace and Halloween type outfits and top hats, and I was like, embrace it. That is the fun of going to a communal movie and that sort of thing. And I got a text, first of all, from 262, who just texted in, get rid of Sandy Mack. Okay, thanks for the positivity on a Monday. But also from Connie in Manitowoc, who just texted in on the Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620. Sandy, is it a theater movie or a living room streaming movie? And I would say you don't have to rush out to the theater. If you really want to be immersed in this big eye candy world, you'll enjoy it. There's a lot to see and look at, but it's not such a big film that, like, oh my God, don't wait. You can wait till it streams.
Big question for you, and then we're going to go to break, and then we'll be joined by Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management. Can you make a connection between the popularity of Taylor Swift, her Eras tour, and the Barbie movie? Just the empowering of women, strong women, doing big stuff?
And storytelling.
Yeah. I could make the leap. I think that's probably part of the story. Anybody who thought the Me Too thing happened and it wouldn't result in the rise of women, you're really not paying attention. If you truly believe in equity and equality, you understand that means equity and equality. That means women doing things that men did, and vice versa, which has been a slow, tough slog for some men, right?
If we can get the pay equity there, that'd be great too.
She is Sandy Max. I am Steve, and she's not going anywhere. We'll be joined by Dave Spano after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Accunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at ACCUNET.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Burke here. When it comes to memory care and assisted living, you want a team that knows compassion and empathy. That's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I know, my grandma's in assisted living. I have an aunt, one of my favorite aunts, right now in memory care. At Azura, they specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They provide additional daily living assistance for those with cognitive decline. 14 locations in Wisconsin. AzuraLiving.com. Wisconsin-based, family-owned. The teams I trust are at Azura. AzuraLiving.com.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it all when you shop at St. Vincent de Paul. Old things, new things. everything's here for you. We're always changing, we're always new. So many friendly people, smiles from wall to wall. You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul. You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ Now.
There's the music. That means next up is Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, also hosts of Money Talk, one of the hosts. You can hear Danny Clayton a lot on that show, which I love because he's got one of the best voices in Milwaukee radio. A little pub for Danny on this Monday. Hi, Dave Spano.
Hello, how are you? Good morning.
Good. You have a wonderful voice as well. I don't want you to feel slighted.
I do. I feel totally slighted.
We hurt Dave's feelings. No, Dave.
I'm very sensitive.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm going to get right to it. So I am starting to see and hear a lot of subject matter experts when it comes to the economy and finance saying, no, we're not going to have a bad recession. We're not in trouble. And you're going to point to, I think, some reasons why that's the case.
Well, and not only that we had this conversation more than 6 months ago, probably even more than that, is that we look at a strong employment number and it continues to be strong. And when there is a mismatch with the job openings and the available job seekers, that has been a strength of the economy for a long time. And I had said, as you recall, more than 6 months ago, that until that happens and until we start to see housing start to crack, and neither one of those has happened. So employment remains strong. Housing still remains strong, and those have been harbingers for a recession. So we just got a GDP number last week that suggests the last report was 2.4% growth. Well, we all know the commonly accepted definition of a recession is 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP. Well, here we are with 2.4% positive growth. So it does suggest that even if we do see a slowdown in the back half of the year or into 2024, which is still a possibility, it won't be this big bad bear of a recession that we talked about.
So the other big part of this, of course, and you've talked about this extensively over the time we've talked, is earnings. And those numbers also suggesting not as bad as we might have thought.
Yeah, in fact, we saw 137 companies report last week, Steve, and a lot of those were really good. We saw some big companies like Meta, we saw Microsoft, we saw a lot of the major companies report higher than expected revenue, that's more sales, and they cut some expenses. So their earnings were good, better than expected. And there's the thing we call an economic recession, but there's also what's called an earnings recession, and we did have that already, and that is where earnings decline back-to-back quarters. So we saw that, and now we're kind of coming out of it. And so as earnings start to accelerate, it shows that we've been doing pretty well. And think about this: we're just about 2 to 3% off all-time highs. And so you think about where we are not only on the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, but it's been a heck of a rally. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they listen to so-called experts. They get scared, they get out of the market, and they miss rallies. And it's happened so many times over the last 4 decades of my career. It's just it's astounding.
Let me ask you this one, because I have a few friends who are very involved in the finance and the economy, and they like to poo-poo any good news. I don't know if they cheer for bad news or what it is exactly, but maybe they play to the negative. But it's a social media phenomena that suggests whatever the good news is, oh, but there's this, oh, but there's that. As somebody who does this professionally every day of your life, probably, even when you're out there playing wonderful golf, what do you say to those folks? Because there's that negativism, that pessimism about what this country can be. Hey, 5 straight months winning markets, stocks up. Mm-hmm. Those are good things.
Yeah, tell those negative Nellies to take a lewd. I mean, come on. That's no, seriously. They're the negative. I will tell you over my career, I think people think they sound smarter with negative news than they do with positive news. But this market has continued over years and decades to go up a wall of worry. And there's certainly a wall of worry happening right now. You can just pick on any one of the geopolitical issues, the political issues here in the United States, what's happening with China, and they're actually having a deflation problem, not an inflation problem. So there's no question you can look at the negative side. We choose to look at the positives, find the opportunity set. There's still opportunities, some in some international investing, some companies that continue to grow, some fixed income options. So there is places to go, and that's the things that you want to be able to do, is find out where the opportunity set is and make sure it's part of your portfolio.
And Dave, tomorrow, August 1st, and I know we joked around about an Aretha Franklin story last time we chatted, but you know what August is.
Make a will month.
There you go.
Nice job, Sandy.
Hey, I'm impressed.
I learned from you in Annex Wealth Management because it has been on my mind, and it is something I know that I need to do. Do you have one tip to get somebody started to follow through on a good intention?
Well, for you, Sandy,
Yes.
I don't mean to, just don't put Steve in your will and give him any motive at all, because you are so good to the show.
A
Yeah, no,
rather
of
dark
course.
forecast from Dave Spano there.
I appreciate that advice.
Get started. I mean, that's really it. I mean, you can have a really basic will, but you can, if you're going through, I mean, you can get a revocable trust and will for a very reasonable amount, but go through it. And I know, people don't want to talk about it because, of course, you have to deal with your own demise when you do that. But the alternative is leaving a mess, and nobody wants to do that for their loved ones. So, we certainly lead with estate planning with a lot of our clients to go through the process, make sure you know where things are, how they're registered. I can tell you so many stories, Sandy, of people who didn't do the right things. For example, putting the correct beneficiaries on a statement. Perhaps they got divorced and they left the ex's name on it. I mean, there's just so many stories that we go through. Make sure it's registered correctly. You can go through your bank accounts. There's payable on death. There's revocable trust. Go through and make sure it's registered. And that's part of the process. Estate planning, tax planning, investment planning, and financial planning. That is what a wealth management firm does. And make sure when you're doing that, Sandy, you go through and make sure that it is a fee-only fiduciary. Those are really important words. Some people now are throwing the fiduciary word around, but they're not. They are fee-only is a difference, because otherwise they can sell you products after they've acted as a fiduciary to some extent of your portfolio. So fee-only fiduciary is a really important term.
And I'll give you my personal experience. We got involved with Annex last year, my wife Kathy and I, and they walk you through this stuff because there's things you miss. We hadn't updated a will. We got that process done. The right tax policy for your current situation, and probably more importantly, post-retirement. And they walk you through the steps. And that's the cool thing about Annex. And they got the best people working there. When I do the live reads, we talk about CFAs, CPAs, doctors. And when you listen to Money Talk, PhDs. When you listen to Money Talk, Dave's trotting these folks out. They are subject matter experts on this. So I'm enthusiastic about it because it demonstrates what you miss when you try to do it yourself, right, Dave?
And think about it. There's as we go through life, Steve, we have we lose people, but as in your case, you have grandchildren now. I mean, this is all part of the process, which is awesome to try to think about those things, setting up 529 plans, making sure they're on the right path. I mean, there's some really good stuff that that we can walk through.
Yeah, Dave Spano, that's why he's on every Monday and Saturday here on WTMJ throughout the day, because he's on all the other programs as well. Dave Spano, always appreciate your wisdom, man.
All right, thanks. And Sandy, I was joking about Steve giving him motive, just so you know. All right, okay, see you guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, one of our great partners here at WTMJ.
That's how we know he likes you, giving that level of heckle.
We have a professional relationship and then a personal relationship, and Dave is one of the most honest, decent, smart guys I know, and he's always got information for me, whether we're having a conversation up on the cafe here at WTMJ or on the show on Mondays at 10:35. He just brings it, and they back it up with, I'm not kidding, the things that we had missed, my wife Kathy and I, in our personal finances, our planning, were significant. We got the updated will and all that stuff. We were missing a few things. That's the kind of way that the process should work. And trust me, nobody wants to think about life without you being part of it, but that's the reality, right?
But you also don't want to think about people who are anguishing and sad that you're gone, then also having to deal with a lot of bureaucracy, red tape, and financial stuff that they never... a lot of us are a little afraid of numbers and intimidated by it anyway. Now add to that the grieving process. If you can make that smoother
Somebody said this to me. Life without a plan is a mess. Death without a plan is complete chaos because all your assets, that has to go through the court system. You don't want that. That's why we bring Dave on. All right, we'll take a break. Here's a question. Think about this, all of you out there in Radio Land. Your child's bullied at school. You don't think your child has been protected, served with the best interest of the school district. Should a parent be able to sue the school district? We're going to talk about that one after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing. When you own a well pump, air spitting from the faucets, a decrease in fluctuating water pressure, along with silty, gritty, slimy changes in water quality, are all symptoms that your well pump isn't well. At Austin Plumbing, we're well-rounded plumbers. I say that because we're one of the few companies around who can capably diagnose and repair all the symptoms related to well pump and water system problems. You know when your car needs service, right? Maybe it makes unusual noises. It sputters, jerks, seems weak, or stops altogether. That goes for your well pump too. We have all the special equipment needed and the master know-how required to electronically pinpoint the exact cause of your well and water issues. And we'll give you a price up front before any work begins. If your well pump is telling you it's not well, let's nip small problems in the bud before you're out of water and in deep, expensive trouble. Told you we were well-rounded. Austin Plumbing. Online at teamaustin.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzik for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, where the summer road trip sale continues. It's where to gear up, get more for your trade, and say yes to enticing offers on a new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or a GM-certified pre-owned model. And right now, well-qualified buyers can lock in low 2.9% 5-year financing on best sellers, including most GMC Sierra 1500 series crew cab models. GMC, we are professional grade. Explore all that's new, treat yourself to a test drive, and enjoy Holiday's genuine guest care and refreshingly different simplified buying approach. It's the stuff that makes fans of drivers from all over, and I'm one of them. You'll be in great hands with Team Holiday on your side. Proud and grateful to be Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer. Accolades are per 2022 Buick and GMC Zone Sales Records. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and online at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
For 60 years, RAID scientists have worked to protect people around the world, including the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
Since 1946, Ansay & Associates has provided insurance to help secure businesses and families throughout Wisconsin. As a family-owned independent agency, customer satisfaction is our first and foremost priority. Our approach is relationship-driven and solutions-oriented to your individual needs and risk management for each customer, personal or business. As one of Wisconsin's top 10 insurance agencies and among the top 5% of agents nationwide, Ansay & Associates can provide all of your insurance needs, from business, commercial, and employee benefits to individual and family coverages. Ansay & Associates is more than insurance. Ansay & Associates is your personal and business solutions partner. Visit ansay.com today and get a free consultation with one of our strategists. Or come see us in person at any of our local offices. Ansay & Associates, securing and protecting your American dream.
It's WTMJ Now.
All right. Stephen Sandy Max on this Monday. Peppy music coming out of break.
It's a great George Harrison song.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll probably have to kind of wind this through the top of the hour news because we're running out of time this hour. But there's a case in New Jersey, specifically Rockaway Township School District, Morris County, New Jersey. And it has to do with a young girl, 12 years old, committed suicide. A lawsuit, wrongful death lawsuit, was filed against the local school district. The attorney for Seth and Diane Grossman, whose daughter Mallory died in 2017, said it's the largest settlement of a bullying case in New Jersey history. How much, you might ask? $9.1 million. He went on to say the settlement is one more step in dealing with this avoidable tragedy, and I hope it sends a clear message to all schools around the country that our children must be protected from the horrors of school bullying. That is from their attorney, Bruce Nagel. They filed the lawsuit in 2018. Their claim was that officials did nothing to stop what they said was ongoing and systematic or systemic bullying, I should say, of Mallory, their daughter. They said in court documents and during the lawsuit that school officials had several meetings with them and Mallory without taking any action. This is where the rubber meets the road. Any action against the alleged bullies, including on the day she took her life. In that meeting, the parents alleged school officials advised them not to file a formal complaint. Keep in mind that piece. Advised them not to file a formal complaint. Parents say that humiliated Mallory and placed the bulk of the responsibility on their daughter. Classmates kicked her chair constantly while she was in class. Alleged that one student asked her in front of other students when she was going to kill herself.
That's crushing. That's hard to hear.
It makes me sad. So I had two wonderful daughters, now grown women, one of them has a daughter of her own, little Charlie. When I hear stories like this, I have said for years on this program and when I wasn't on radio, we have failed to shut down bullying in schools. I know some districts have tried hard to do this. And I would make a bigger argument that some of this is linked to the bullying nature of politics and the culture we live in now because of the lack of accountability in schools. Now, teachers can't do all this work. They're already really busy because districts have dumped everything on them, including behavioral stuff that probably they don't have enough time to even adequately address. When I see stories like this, when I read stories like this, it says to me, you know what? Parents have rights too. They have lost their child because a school district said, you don't want to file a formal complaint against this individual who essentially asked their young daughter, now dead, when she was going to kill herself. What are we doing here? This is something that needs to be taken seriously. Bullies as kids end up bullies as adults. I've seen them, I've met them, I've known them. Didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. And that's a strong opinion. I get it. But unless we're really prepared to knock this stuff down, there's no power in bullying. It's actually weakness, demonstrated in a weird way. It's weakness.
Insecurity, immaturity.
Yeah. And we have put up with this nonsense long enough. I don't care if you think your kid's tough because he's a bully, or the other one I get all the time. That's just how kids are. You know what? No.
This crosses a line. We've all experienced, I'm confident, everyone listening has experienced bullying at some stage in their life. And some of it is toughening up. I get it. But when are you going to go kill yourself? And that's a line that's been crossed, and a parent has a right to say that. And yes, I want to file a complaint. This is not just you're ugly, your shoes are stupid, picking on you, you're dumb at math, any insult. This is different. And it's something we've been talking about, mental health with children after the pandemic and the separation. This is nothing to joke about, and it's nothing to shirk accountability. No, you don't want to file a formal complaint because you don't want to deal with it. You would rather let this child suffer than help solve this problem.
Yeah, it's just unacceptable. In this day and age, when all we talk about is bullying at the shallow, superficial level. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty, we have school districts that say, oh, we don't want to file a formal complaint. No, we don't want to go after the parents who are, in some ways, encouraging this behavior by their inaction to try to control their kid. You want to talk about parenting and being more involved in the schools? How about getting your kid to shape up? Stop terrorizing other kids.
And maybe they have no idea that child behaves that way.
Maybe they don't.
So all the more reason to open up that communication and prevent this.
So I want to wrap this around that. We're going to take another break. We'll have a little bit of time in the 10 o'clock hour, and then I want to kind of wrap it around into the 11 because I think this is an important topic to discuss. We have school beginning in, 3 weeks?
Weeks, yes. It'll be August 1st tomorrow, so I know school's starting up for some kids in just a couple of weeks.
Here's a little behind the scenes of a radio host. Used to be my show, now it's our show. I got letters from moms constantly, mostly moms, about the things that happen to their kids. And in some cases, I have made that next contact. I'm not in the school district. I can't control the school district behavior. I can't tell a teacher what to do. But I can tell you that when I see and read these stories from moms who are just frustrated. I actually took about a 45-minute phone call with a mom whose son was bullied. She was crying. I was crying at some point because none of that stuff should have been allowed to happen, and yet it did happen. In a country who's supposedly attuned to what's bothering kids in schools, paying attention. And this amazing thing that social media has just made it worse. Because it used to be you could unplug. You left school, you went home, that was your safe place. You know what? Now bullying follows you into the bedroom where you sleep.
Yeah, you used to just dread the next morning at school
now
facing
you dread,
those people. Now you're right. You can't get away from it.
It's a big topic, but I want to get your thoughts on this because I am supportive of the parents who said to the school district, you know what? No. We're not losing our daughter because of your inaction and your refusal to do the right thing. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. You will hear me talk about a lot of things on this show. This is the one I'm most passionate about because it happens far too often, and I will make the connection. Bullies as kids, bullies as adults, and you can't tell me that hasn't led to some of the political nonsense we have to talk about every day on this show.
And I always feel compelled when we talk about suicide and mental health, and especially when we're dealing with young ones. Please remember that 988 mental health hotline is available 24/7 for any level of anxiety, stress, or distress.
All right, we'll take a break. We got news at the top. Then we're going to continue the conversation on the loss of a beautiful young woman in a New Jersey school district when the school district said, don't file a formal complaint. Bad decision.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. Creative Planning is a wealth management firm that believes in a total approach to building wealth that includes taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other personalized elements. This approach allows you to receive advice that is aligned with your unique goals and always in your best interests. Why not give your wealth a second look? Visit creativeplanning.com.
At QC Kinetics, we have story after story of patients freed from agonizing pain through amazing regenerative treatments. But this one, well, it's special.
My father, who is 70 years old, had both of his knees worn out. He went to an orthopedic surgeon who said, you need both of your knees operated on. We can book you for next week.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, Medical Director for QC Kinetics.
Had him come to QC Kinetics. We treated both of his knees using our protocols with regenerative medicine. Within a few months, he was back to walking. A few months later, he was at the gym exercising 3 times a week. He can keep up with our 3.5-year-old little girl.
No surgery, no complicated rehab or downtime.
It's completely life-changing for him.
You have options too. Before they whisk you away to surgery, slow down. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands.
When you're at State Fair this year, be sure to check out the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater, State Fair's largest free entertainment venue. Featuring acts like Kids from Wisconsin, Here Come the Mummies and Pat McCurdy, Bank 5-9 is a proud sponsor of the fair and a proud supporter of the local Wisconsin communities they have served since 1859. So grab your bucket of lemonade or beer, something on a stick, and join Bank 5-9 between August 3rd and the 13th. Member FDIC.
With Rhino Shield ceramic coating, never paint your house again. Rhino Shield will keep 100% of the rain and 90% of the heat from penetrating your house. And it looks just like paint, but will last 5 times longer, and it's guaranteed for 25 years. Rhino Shield comes in any color. Get started today at rhinoshieldwis.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
While the warm weather has you feeling like new, get old with a money market account from Old National Bank and earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield. Whether you're saving up for something big or just for a rainy day, Old National is here for you. Earn 5.00% APY with our limited time 12-month introductory money market offer. To earn the promotional rate, account must be funded with a minimum of $10,000 not on deposit at Old National as of April 14th, 2023. Learn more at oldnational.com or visit a local banking center today. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
Hi, I'm Father Tim Kitsky from the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, inviting all of you on behalf of the Milwaukee Catholic Home to the Heart and Soul of Ireland pilgrimage. I'm excited to be the leader of this amazing spiritual trip. It's taking place June 2nd to the 11th, 2024. On this pilgrimage, we'll explore many breathtaking sights, charming Irish cities, all the while growing in our faith and creating friendships and memories that will last a lifetime. Please join us. Check out the details on alifeengaged.org or by calling 414-220-3216. Thanks.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Baseball may be America's favorite pastime, but the Nationals are not America's favorite baseball team.
And Tyrone, a high drive, left field, Benson back, track, gone! Taylor with a two-run shot.
The Brewers are in D.C. with game coverage starting this afternoon at 5:30 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
11:01, we have 79 degrees, mostly sunny today with some haze this afternoon, a high of 79. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. About 2,800 We Energies customers still without power this morning after last week's severe weather. A hot apartment with no power being called a possible cause of death of an 84-year-old Milwaukee man over the weekend. Milwaukee police say Alton Smith was found by his niece lying on the living room floor next to his oxygen tank. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's report says the apartment was fairly hot and had no power, possibly due to the severe storms on Friday night. Autopsy results are pending. The search for a New Hampshire woman and her young daughter kidnapped in Haiti has intensified. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
An escalation of violence by Haiti's armed gangs is driving a humanitarian crisis that has displaced tens of thousands of people. The country of Kenya is now saying that they are going to take the lead, and they are ready to deploy at least 1,000 police officers to help train and assist Haitian police so they can restore normalcy in that country.
And Vice President Kamala Harris sat down with ABC News. Among the topics they discussed, immigration and the busloads of migrants that have been sent from border states to Democrat-led cities.
Human beings should not be treated as pawns in a political game. What is happening in terms of sending these migrants, most of whom have fled great harm, and sending them across the country for the sake of some political showmanship, it's just irresponsible.
More of that interview will air on Prime with Lindsay Davis tonight. Hunter Biden's longtime friend and business associate expected to testify on Capitol Hill today. Devin Archer will appear before the House Oversight Committee and will likely share details about foreign ventures and meetings with Hunter. Last week, the president's son pleaded not guilty to federal tax charges after a judge rejected a proposed plea deal. As many as 16 residents of the Meadowlark Apartments in Tachite in Fond du Lac County temporarily homeless after a fire yesterday morning. Calumet Fire Chief Brian Schussman says one person had to dive out of the building from a second-story window to escape the flames.
Our first arriving engine crew did a primary search of the first and second floor, went back in to start fire suppression at that point, and I had to pull them because the fire had advanced so rapidly across the entire top half of the structure.
The American Red Cross assisting the displaced residents. 2 meetings this week will give area residents the chance to voice opinions on the future of I-794 between the Marquette Interchange and the Hone Bridge. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation hosting the meetings to educate the public on the process behind its I-794 Lake Interchange study, as well as give commuters the chance to provide input on design concepts. Meetings will be at the Milwaukee Marriott downtown Tuesday at 4 p.m. and at St. Thomas More High School on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up just 7 points, the S&P 500 is up a point, and the Nasdaq is up 14. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Radio guy emeritus Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Enjoy summer while it lasts, folks, because you know what's coming down the pike. Cold weather and high heating bills. It's not too soon to start thinking about new windows and doors from Hometown. They have options that fit every home, every style, and every budget, even yours. Their huge New Berlin showroom has the area's largest display of replacement windows, doors, and patio doors from national brands like Anderson, Pella, Marvin, Softline, and more. In wood, fabrics, fiberglass, and vinyl, with scads of features including, wonder of wonders, blinds inside the glass. What's more, Hometown offers you dedicated project consultants with products installed by Hometown's own employee carpenters. Stop in today or call 414-329-1200 or go to hometownwindows.com. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need.
Is there anything sweeter than the crisp sound of a driver when it connects purely with the ball? Many golfers evaluate the quality of their shot by the sound it makes. You may feel the same about your financial plan. Something doesn't seem, look, or sound right. Think of Annex Wealth Management as financial swing doctors. We'll give you the truly objective analysis that comes from a fee-only fiduciary with no products to push or commissions to chase. If you need help, talk to our pros. Get started at annexwealth.com. Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee has partnered with the iconic musical duo of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from world-renowned rock band Kiss to bring their newest hit to town, Rock and Brews Restaurant. On August 1st, rock and roll over to Potawatomi for the grand opening of Rock and Brews and satisfy your need for great food, great music, and most importantly, a great time. For more details, visit paysbig.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
It was a weekend Brewers fans will soon want to forget as the Atlanta Braves busted out the brooms to complete the series sweep of Milwaukee with the 8-6 win over the Brewers on Sunday afternoon. With the loss, the Brewers now trailing the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central Division by half a game. Over to the NFL as the Green Bay Packers wrapped up week 1 of training camp on Sunday. Beginning today, the Pads coming on in Titletown as head coach Matt LaFleur ensures the standard remains high for his football team in Green Bay.
The expectations are this, that guys go out there and compete to the best of their ability each and every day, that they come here with a great attitude and great energy, and and embrace this grind.
Day 5 of training camp will get underway later today. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Right now, heavy delays. I-43 southbound between Brown Deer Road to downtown. Those delays were running over an hour at one point. Now they're about 51 minutes. There's a crash at Green Tree Road. The left lane is blocked. There's also some construction in that area, so beware. I-43 southbound from Brown Deer Road to downtown. Delays now about 51 minutes. I-894 westbound from the Mitchell Interchange to the Hale Interchange. Just a little bit of delay there. That's usually about a 6-minute drive. That's going to take you about 7 minutes this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny today with some haze this afternoon. We've reached our high of 79. That's our current temperature right now. Mostly clear tonight with a low 63. Sunny, hazy tomorrow, high 82. Partly cloudy tomorrow, or rather Wednesday, with a slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm and a high of 85. Thursday, again, slight chance of showers or storms. Partly cloudy, breezy, warm, high 88. And Friday, sunshine with a high of 82. Madison right now, 77. Green Bay, 75. Milwaukee, 79 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
We are sitting in our appropriate chairs, and Sandy Max alongside here on WTMJ. WTMJ Now is a program. We're, about 2 weeks into this adventure, I think? Something like that. 2 or 3 weeks.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, and we are having fun. Now, this is not a fun topic, and I kind of teed it up that way. Parents of a child who committed suicide, 12-year-old, in New Jersey, just wanted lawsuits, wrongful death lawsuit against the school district in question. Rockaway Township School District, Morris County, New Jersey. And the settlement was for $9.1 million. Now, typically, I've said before on this program and my previous program that, we are a country that loves suing people. I know people who actually make a living just filing lawsuits.
No.
It's their main job in life. I would say most of them are frivolous, but that's what they do for a living, which is kind of an amazing way to make a living. But set that aside. So I've tied it to a bigger conversation about bullying, and I have very strong opinions about it. I know you do as well, Sandy. And my opinion is this, and then we got calls, we got texts. I do want to vet some of this stuff. I have said for a long time, and I'm a husband of a teacher who's now retired.
So she's seen a lot.
She had her life threatened.
Oh, my.
By a student who, by the way, was allowed to continue in that school. So think about that for a second. That's on the teacher level. I've taken calls, received emails and texts from moms, mostly moms, maybe a few dads, who have told me heart-wrenching stories about how bullying not only changed their kids' life, but hurt them emotionally and mentally, that they couldn't function. And I've said for so long, we give those schools our trust. We give them our kids and say, teach them, keep them safe. In the era of school shootings, in the era of a rise of bullying, not just in schools, but away from school. And I think we've failed miserably. And I have not been convinced, this is my opinion, that school districts have taken this seriously enough. I understand there's a desire to keep all, it's the inclusive argument. Got to keep all the kids in school, even the ones that are bad actors, bad behaviors. Got to keep them all in school because the alternative is scary. Well, you know what? When a child threatens another kid, I'm not sure they should ever be in a traditional school setting again. And whether that's a strong take or not, don't care. Because you have threatened the life of another kid or given a kid impetus to take their own life. That shouldn't happen in schools. And it does every day in this country.
That should be a safe space. That's supposed to be a safe space where you're encouraged to be relaxed and to learn.
Yeah. I want to take some calls. We got texts as well. Lots of strong opinions on this. Tyler, you're first up calling. Is this your child?
Yeah. Things are going much better now, but it was certainly a challenge.
Tell us about it.
My son, special needs. Yeah, he's special needs. In the special needs room, at the time, it was 23 kids in this room, one teacher, no aide. And he was constantly targeted, coming home with black eyes. We didn't let it go on very long. We tried to address it and ultimately had to pull him from the school and move to homeschooling, and then pandemic hit shortly after, which is almost convenient in that situation.
Right.
But working with leadership really got us nowhere. What we wanted to address was really the class size, the lack of discipline, the things that kind of led to this behavior and this kind of routine behavior. And what I got met with was a response like, hey, are you recording our conversation? Just a lot of pushback, a lot of worry about perhaps being sued, which is the last thing we wanted to do. We just wanted to fix the issue, hopefully help out some other kids as well.
What level were you at when you were getting those kind of responses? Was that school board level? Was that district staff? Where were you at?
Superintendent.
Superintendent of the school district. Do you think
this is Fond du Lac.
Yeah, do you think your decision to pull your child, obviously the pandemic made that a reality anyway, do you think that changed this story completely? What would have happened if your child was still in school, do you think?
I can't imagine. It was a horrible time. The pandemic kind of finished up and we enrolled him into a nearby charter school, and where the class sizes are much smaller, and it's a night and day difference. He's happy. Not worried about going to school anymore. It really turned things around for him.
Tyler, thanks for sharing your story. I'm glad that it turned out great for your child, and that's a tough one. I don't know if you mentioned his child is autistic, and those are already hard enough realities, right, for parents? Because you don't have the resources. Schools, I'm going to be fair about this, schools don't have the resources.
Well, he mentioned that the teacher, no aide, 22 students in that room.
Special needs, no aide.
That's a tough day at work.
So much of these
no matter
problems,
how much you love your job, that's a tough day at work.
Yeah, and I spent 2 days. This is not even close to the same thing. I spent 2 days with my grandkids, and I'm worn out. And they just ran around. There was none of that other
They
stuff.
didn't pummel each other? Yeah.
No, they just ran around, and I'm completely tired. A lot of really interesting and great texts.
Well, because this strikes an emotional chord in everyone, because you've either been on the end of it as a child in school, or you may have participated in bullying and as an adult feel terrible about it because you can't go back and take that experience back. And if you're a parent, you worry about your child. I mean, this really strikes an emotional nerve with people.
Do you think, this is a question for all of you and Sandy, do you think there's some parents that say, it's just the way kids are, would just deal with it?
Yes.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah. So what? Be tougher. And I will tell you, in situations that I've seen, the only really way to stop it is to bully the kid back. Because once that kid gets his butt whipped by the rest of the classmates who are sick and tired of dealing with his nonsense or her nonsense, but unfortunately that's just self-perpetuating. We're all participating in violence in a context where we shouldn't be dealing with that. From the Old National Bank talk and text line, real quick because we get the break here. Bill says, if you kick that child out of school, do you think that bullying will stop? Don't think so. Only, Bill, because I've had this thrown at me before with school board members, and I've talked to a lot of them, only if there's an alternative for the kid. I've suggested with some of the worst kids, worst behavioral issues, essentially you have a decision to make. You have to control their environment. You have to give them a real job at a very young age and say, this is what you're going to do, or teach them something that's usable in their adult life. Those are the decisions you have to make, because putting them back in that school environment is not going to fix the problem. They have shown an inability to figure it out. With one exception, when you give schools the resources to specifically address bullying and its consequences, behavioral issues, then you can flip the switch. Doesn't happen enough. Also from the text line, good morning to both of you. This is Peter from the River West. This bullying has gotten so much out of control, and it doesn't help when our ex-leader used to bully everybody on certain things. There's certainly a political argument to make here. You know, whether you call Trump a bully, I assume he's talking about former President Donald Trump and not another former president, because frankly, I don't see the comparison to anyone else.
Teddy Roosevelt said bully for you, didn't he?
Yes.
That was it.
Bully pulpits? Yes. Look, I used the term political bullies before. Take it beyond the candidates and the elected officials. There's an element of what we do that's fed into this. Decades of hate radio, inspired by politics, not positive. Demonizing the other side. Anything goes, including things like January 6th and other things where just expressing your opinion became violence towards, police officers. Back to blue, except when it's in defense of a former president, which is still, I haven't got a good answer on that one. We're going to take a break. We'll continue on this. We're going to have a great guest coming up. Ian Abson's going to join us talking about something called Honechella, which frankly I know nothing about, but he's one of the founders of Like the Hone, and I wanted to get his take because I love Like the Hone.
It could have been Honapalooza.
It could have been.
It was 10 years ago, it would have been Honapalooza.
Save that question.
No.
Honechella, Honapalooza?
Honechella sounds cooler.
I have to think about that one. Sandy, Max, and Steve on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Stay in touch. You can reach us on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi for ECU. How about this? Educators Credit Union. Achieve your financial dreams faster. Whether you're dreaming of opening your own small business, financing the cost of college, buying a car, paying for your own wedding, which can be very expensive, trust me, Educators Credit Union is by your side with better rates, lower fees, and award-winning member services designed to help turn your financial dreams into reality. Learn more at ECU.com. I did. I joined last year. I love being a member at Educators. You will too. Membership is open to anyone who lives or works in southeastern Wisconsin. That means you. Join me. Join us at ECU.com, federally insured by NCUA.
I'd been living with the snoring problem nearly my entire life. In fact, I can remember my mother teasing me, saying that I'd snore so loudly that the walls of our house would cave in with each breath.
Fast forward only recently, when Jessica's snoring forced her husband out of their bed and into another room. It's a pretty common situation. We call it a sleep divorce, and that's not good. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent. After Jessica had a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, we found that her snoring problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it works. You won't find it offered by big box healthcare, but you will find it at Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available. You can hear more of Jessica's story at adventknowsjessica.com and take your first step towards breathing well so you can live better.
Breathe well,
results may vary.
Get huge savings this weekend only during Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Stock up on all your favorites, like 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $13.99. 40-pound bags of Superior Premium Grade Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $10. 40 pounds of Diamond Crystal Iron Fighter Water Softener Pellets, only $5.89. Or pick up a Sterilite 18-gallon storage tote, on sale just $4.99. We have what you need for your everyday life. Fleet Farm.
WTMJ Now.
Thanks for taking the time. Stephen Sandy on WTMJ Now. News, opinion, why it matters in Wisconsin. Yes, that's our mantle, our mission statement. Got this text. Well, actually, Sandy, you can read it. From Rob from West Dallas. We're taking out some names because I don't want to just throw names out unless we...
But really appreciate Rob for being so honest. And when I was saying earlier that, just even saying the word bullying is an emotional, I'll use the word trigger, which I know triggers some people, but it really can bring a lot of memories flooding back from bad times in childhood. I'll also say traumatic times in childhood. And Rob shared a story about how he was bullied by two fellas, physically, broken arm, multiple concussions on several occasions, and that his parents, they moved the family to Green Bay to get him a safe space. And he also texted the denial of bullying by parents and schools needs to stop, and I firmly think that the parents need to be held responsible. And one of the things that still resonates with them, he carried sand in his pockets for years afterwards to throw in the eyes of possible combatants. And he's got an old leather jacket that still has grains of sand in it. But it's like those terrible survival skills that you don't want a little one to have.
Those are real life stories. And I know some people are of the mindset, I said it earlier, well, that's just kids being kids. No. We don't have to put up with that. And I don't think kids should ever be terrorized. And why did I tell you this story? Because at the beginning, this is consequences, in this case for school districts, just kind of looking the other way. Not encouraging a formal complaint. Maybe getting in the way of a child terrorizing another child. Yeah, I know social media and the anonymity of all of that, the internet has made it easy for this stuff to happen. But why wouldn't we, just like with school shootings, why wouldn't we do everything in our power to try to reduce the likelihood that someone is bullied, killed in the act of violence in a school? I've told the story numerous times. When I heard about Sandy Hook, I pounded my wheel as I was driving in western Wisconsin. I was so pissed off. 7-year-old kids slaughtered in their classroom. How is that a normal thing in this country? So I know that's a big leap from bullying, but is it? Because the parents in this case lost their 12-year-old daughter because of bullying. She was a cheerleader at school. She was a good,
12 years old.
Yeah, positive kid.
12 years old.
Except for this.
And this is a place where you have your children and you think it's a safe space for them. So there is a responsibility for the adults running the organizations to make sure that's as safe as possible, especially when it's brought to your attention that this level of bullying and saying, this was what a little child said to another little child in front of a whole bunch of other classmates who egged her on. When are you going to kill yourself?
And for school board members and school districts, including superintendents, this is a warning. Don't look the other way. I understand the idea of inclusivity. You want all kids, even the bad actors, the bad behaviors. Every kid can be groomed and re-educated or trained to be a better human being. I hope that's the case. But if you allow a student, one student, to go this far, in this case resulting in the suicide of a young girl, you are opening yourself to a world of financial hurt, and it's only going to get worse. Because stories like this become known and popular, and that action of these parents will become more commonplace.
And you'd like to think it would be avoidable if you actually address it.
If you got involved.
Yeah.
All right.
988 is that number for the mental health hotline for all ages at all hours. 988.
Lots of great context, text on this issue. We'll probably pick it up at a later date because it's something that's important to me and Sandy both.
Like you said, back to school time is a fresh slate time.
It's coming.
And how can you be more aware of signs? Because also kids don't always tell you.
True, and then they keep that inside, and that has negative consequences as well. All right, after the break, something called Honechella, not Honapalooza. Honechella. One of the creators, Ian Abston, will join us After this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Did you hear that? It can only mean one thing. The Wisconsin State Fair is back. As you're enjoying the fair, be sure to stop by the Bank 59 studio on the heart of the State Fairgrounds to see all of your favorite hosts broadcasting live. It's WTMJ Live at the Wisconsin State Fair. All fair long. See you there.
It's not a gimmick. It's simply comprehensive, fee-only financial planning to get all your arrows pointed in the right direction. And although rate of return is important, there are many factors that are equally, if not more important. There's a strong belief among financial experts that tax planning is more important than rate of return. And at Financial Strategies, we strongly believe that is what sets us apart. As a result of our strategies, our clients have saved significantly on their taxes. They were prepared to pay the taxes and elated when we shared how they could avoid them. We want to grow your investment and protect it, and we've proven to be very good at doing just that. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial Strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Wisconsin coating professionals and Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. It's WTMJ Now.
Welcome back to WTMJ Now. Stephen Sandy on this Monday. So I haven't talked to this guy in a while. He's one of those movers and shakers.
Yeah.
This curly mop-top youngster in Milwaukee context is involved in everything. Ian Abston, one of the founders and creator of Light the Hone. Is that correct, Ian? Am I saying it correctly? Founder and creator?
Yes, sir. I also like curly-headed mop guy. I'll tell you that. That's the nicest thing you've said to me.
Oh, stop. I always give you high praise because you're involved in everything.
That's fair. I'll take it. And I also like that you brought me on to Santeria, the song that was the lead-in. That was from Summer Youth.
Oh, wow. Look at this music guy here. No. Producer Charlie's saying that's not correct.
I thought it was Under the Bridge.
Yeah,
from
it's
Red
Under
Hot
the Bridge.
Chili
Oh, nice try, buddy. You're not as musically in it.
Wow, I killed that one.
We're still in the 90s, though.
Next
It's all
guest.
Good.
Next guest.
No.
Same era. All
But
right.
Ian, I love that you are energizing our city in a lot of different ways. And your latest project, Honechella. What is this about?
Well, thanks for having us on, friends. First, we've put these beautiful lights on the Hone Bridge, as many of you have seen. It was a $4 million capital campaign. Michael Hostad, myself, and Lori Richards, and Greg Marshall were all part of that. And we had no idea what we were doing. And lo and behold, enough people got interested. We've got lights, and we'd love to get the backside of that thing lit, which is about $2 million because we put in a lot of the conduit to get there. And Honechella is the way our generation wants to do a fundraiser. So instead of buying seats at a gala at one of our great locations like the Pfister or Discovery World, those are wonderful, but we want to do something that stands out. So instead of a table, you get a boat. Instead of an emotional video, you get a fireworks show and a light show synced up to DJ Shauna. And it's our way of kind of throwing the fundraiser on its head, drawing attention to some of the things that we consider incredible about the city, and unifying people on the water, which I think is just an underutilized part of Milwaukee.
Give me some of the nuts and bolts in this. When is it? How do folks find out about it?
Yeah, so honechella.com is the website. You can find it on lightthehone.com as well. And the event is on August 17th. So we rented out all the boat slips. If you're familiar with Lakeshore State Park, that really cool massive island behind Discovery World, there's 20 boat slips back there, which are actually run by the DNR. And we've made those into our VIP tables. So if you've got a boat, or even better, if you have a friend with a boat, because that's the best boat to have, you can buy yourself a VIP table, and it's $1,500 for the night. And we've got a DJ there to welcome you. Around 6:30, all the boats, led by our friends over at Milwaukee Milwaukee Fire Department, are going to take us from the Lakeshore State Park all the way down the river, and we're picking up boats along the way. We're doing a boat parade. We've got the fire department in the front, police in the back. Bridges will be opening. We've got the Funk Wagon, which is a band on a boat. We've got 88.9 with a DJ as well. It's just a community celebration up and down the river. We go up to Lakefront, turn around, and eventually we'll make it back under the Hone around 8:30 on the 17th, where DJ Shauna, she's the Bucks DJ, has a 10-minute set that is going to go lit up with the lights. So the lights are going to dance to music, and the fireworks are going to go off. And those of you who bought the VIP spot, we go back under Lakeshore State Park to continue the event.
Talking to Ian Abson, one of the founders and creators of Light the Hone, now Honechella. So I guess one of the things people were asking me about when I said I was going to have you on the show is, so the one side, the west-facing side, is already lit up and has been since 2020, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so will the east-facing, Lake Michigan-facing side, will that be different than the other side, or match it, or how's that going to work?
Great question. So we're going to match it. So in the $4 million of our original raise, we put in all the conduit below, and that conduit's going to allow us to do everything on the other side. So we're really just fundraising for lights right now, which is about $2 million, and a coding program called Code to Home, which allows high school kids to learn to code on them. So you can separately code them to be different colors, different times of the night, but the general structure of what the lights look like will look the same. Then we get, well, why are you doing that side? Well, that's kind of the money shot of Milwaukeeans don't always see it, but national press sees it. And our goal is to have that done before the RNC, because anytime a presidential candidate comes to town, the Bucks, the Brewers are doing an evening game, that drone or helicopter shot of the city, we want that to be lit up to send a message to the rest of the world that Milwaukee is doing incredible things. It's a vibrant place to be. So that's the goal for the next side.
I love the positivity, because a lot of people say there's no way they're raising $4 million for Light the Hone, and then it happened. And then in this case, half of that to finish the job. As somebody who's in and around this city a lot, touching a lot of different areas of the coolness of Milwaukee, talk about some of the other things you see that are happening in this city, because I know you're involved in a lot of stuff outside of just the Hone stuff. What's your sense of where Milwaukee's place is right now?
Listen, it's a great question. Not prepared, but I'll wing it. Thanks, Steve. Put me on the spot. We're on the top of the fence. We could go one way or another. We've got to get our strategies together. We've got to work together as a region. I'm really happy to see we've got young leadership in both Crowley and Mayor Johnson, and we've worked across the aisle in Madison. We finally got the sales tax, though not perfect, undoubtedly what we need. So what am I most excited about? That might hate to bring in politics or legislator, but man, that is going to help solve a lot of issues that were right in front of us. So we can really start picturing big things. And I hope that is the opening of the can to collaborate as a state and not just do this Milwaukee versus Madison versus rural areas. But what excites me, I just left this weekend. First of all, I just turned 40 this weekend. So
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
July babies.
Here we are. Yeah, July babies. The 29th, Leos. But after the birthday, I went right to River West 24, which is a just 24-hour bike race in River West. Followed by that, I went to Brady Street Festival, and man, I'm coming off of one of my favorite Milwaukee weekends, because oftentimes I know some people might not get to the city often, or when they do, it's just for a big Summerfest show or a buck show. But what excites me is our main streets are really engaging. We're getting our planning down. Ivanhoe was just shut down to be a pedestrian-only street. I think you're starting to see maybe a changing of leadership, a passing of the baton, where a new generation of people with ideas are coming together who collaborate. And we're starting to talk about Brady Street being pedestrian-only, or tearing down a freeway. And I don't want to say yes or no to all those, but the fact that the conversation is even happening, and you're not just getting an update from the DOT, that says to me we're on to something. We're on to something. And our goal here is just we need to compete nationally. The war is talent, and Milwaukee is primed to make a big lift. Milwaukee and Madison in the state, for that matter.
Ian, there is a lot of talk of vision, and you talk about closing off Ivanhoe and some progress in making this a more pedestrian-friendly city. I've got to ask you about all the conversation about 794. Are you involved in those conversations? How would that affect the home?
I'm not involved in them. I'm definitely watching, though, because it's such a big part of who we are, what we do. I can't answer that as a professional. I can answer it, though, as look what happened when we tore down the Park East. It took 20 years to fill in. So whatever we're doing right now, it is a master plan. This isn't going to happen tomorrow. This is things that we can start, and by 2050, Milwaukee will start to look different. But that excites me because, hey, I've got a 3-year-old, and I want that kid to be worldly, little Bo. I want him to have all the opportunities in the world. But I hope at the end of the day he chooses Milwaukee, because flights to Melbourne, flights to Austin, that's expensive. So if I get to be a small part of a player in Milwaukee that can create a place where my kid, your kid, someone else's grandkids want to live here because they think it's cool, and that's why I chose it here, because Milwaukee's an unfinished city, and that attracts people like myself, people like you, Mayor. What you were able to do in your time as a mayor has turned around a region, not just specifically there, but Metro Milwaukee. And that's, I think, if we attract the people that are excited about shaping a city, that's what gives me hope, because I want to play nationally here. And, what is my big goal? Hey, I hope my kid 20, 25 years from now, when he's making a decision, Milwaukee's high on that list, because we've created something and made the sacrifices that he's going to be proud of.
I love it. Ian Abson, always great to talk to you. I have to get you in studio next time. Keep up the good work. I admire your efforts. A lot of people said it couldn't be done, and here we are talking about finishing that amazing project. And you didn't say it, but there's no way we're tearing that home down. Now after we invested this time and energy and community spirit in getting this done, whatever happens at 794 will happen at 794, but the Hone Bridge is going to stay there, because it is. Do you agree it's an iconic symbol of Milwaukee?
Yeah, well, I might be I might love it too much, so take that into consideration. Hell yeah, it's iconic. My friend's got the tattoo. Half of every shirt I own has the Hone logo on it.
There you
I've
go.
got a company called Hone. I think that was a $300 million lift a couple of years ago. So I think if they do decide to take that down, that's not till 2080. So those lights are going to be on their 4th contract by then. So we'll see what happens.
All right, love it, my friend. Ian Abson, one of the founders and creators of Light the Hone, now very involved with Honechella. What's that website real quick so people can check it out?
You got it. We'll see you August 17th at Honechella, HONCHELLA.com. See you with the boats.
All right,
Thanks for your time, guys.
Well done. Ian
Thanks,
Abson
Ian.
joining us. I love the energy there. And that's why I love having him as a friend, because he's got the spirits.
And an innovative party. That is Honechella.com. And Ian Abston, one of the co-organizers on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline.
And did you catch the part about his little son, Bo? That's the future. So you need people that are vested like that, not just for now, because Ian's a guy that likes to have a good time. Trust me, I've been at a lot of events with him over the years.
I just heard the weekend he had.
Yes, including going back to my mayoral days, which he also referenced, and thanks for the kind words. Overstated, but kind. But he is connected to now and the future. We need more people thinking like that. And I do agree with him. The mayor also thinks like that, as does the county executive. We need more leaders and influencers like Ian Abston. We'll take a quick break. Steve and Sandy, WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Breakthroughs aren't just for medical journals. They're to help people hold their grandbabies for the first time. Expertise isn't just for awards or recognition. It can be what gives people the best chance to walk again. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, people are the driving force behind everything we do. So we never lose sight of what's important. And we never forget who it's for. Because in the end, we're people helping people. That means every breakthrough, every clinical study, every interaction is to help people like you, your family, and your neighbors be the best they can be. We do everything possible because we see everything possible in you. To find out how compassion motivates world-class care, visit Froedtert.com.
When a new baby is added to the mix, saving money becomes a real priority. Shopping at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores can help. With an abundance of baby clothing and toys, all thrift store priced at pennies on the dollar. You'll spend a little to get a lot. Find great deals on gently used baby clothes and toys at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Your first night camping alone. The new tent, fully set up. Your bug spray, barely keeping up. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free overdraft protection transfers. So when you bought all those supplies and lost track of your spending, we had you covered. You got this with free overdraft protection transfers from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
WTMJ Now.
All right, I love the behind the scenes at WTMJ. All right, I've done this before because I did it last year. Animal Crackers at Racine Zoo. The Racine Zoo is presenting Animal Crackers concert series. I have not been to it, but I heard about it. I have a lot of friends in Racine. Great music, delicious food, good time with friends, those very friends I was talking about, at the lakefront, at the Racine Zoo. They have 2 concerts coming up that you can go to. Wednesday, August 9th, which is not that far away. It's Little Ed and the Blues Imperials. Are you familiar with Little Ed?
I am.
You are?
That's next Wednesday, yeah.
You are so tapped into music.
There's some good local music around here. And another band that's performing as part of Animal Crackers is excellent as well. Wednesday, August 23rd, it's Steely Dan.
Yeah,
Do you know about this
tribute band? Yeah.
All from Dane County?
Yeah.
Playing Steely Dan music?
Which I love.
It's like 12 people on stage.
I have never turned on my radio, serious or otherwise, and heard a Steely Dan song without saying, oh my goodness, that's a great song. Huge fan.
So for Animal Crackers, the concert series, the doors open at 5:30. Show starts at 7. You can buy tickets at racinezoo.org. How about this? Can we treat you to a pair of tickets?
There you go.
We love to do that.
We buried the lead a little bit, but here we are.
We had to draw you in. Tell you what
Yes.
because, sometimes you're like, call in now. And people just call and they're like, oh, I didn't know what I was winning.
Yeah.
This way, I'm thinking people will call in. The Old National Bank Talk and Text line is open for you, 855-616-1620. Caller number 9, since this first show is on number 9. You win a pair of tickets to the Animal Crackers at the Racine Zoo concert series, and your choice. Either Little Ed, the Blues Imperials next Wednesday, or Wednesday, August 23rd, Steely Dan. Your choice.
I've heard good things about the Racine Zoo. I've never been there, but celebrating 100 years, right?
That's what I say. I believe that's a milestone anniversary for them this year.
But I've heard people that have visited this say, oh my goodness, it's like an amazing place. I'll have to get down there. All right, so we're waiting for caller number 9. Charlie will get all your digits and let us know who the winner is. We'll do that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're not off Friday, but we're not going to do a giveaway on Friday because we've got a lot of state fair stuff to do. Lots of state fair stuff to do. We'll take a break. Kind of a recap a little bit. There's a lot of things that happen on the show. We're still getting some really important texts on our bullying conversation. A couple I just want to read quickly, and then after that, we'll see what Jeff Wagner's going to talk about as he gets ready to crank up his show, 12 noon to 3 p.m. right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Accunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience helping businesses make money and keep it. 2023 is in full swing. How are you doing? Do you have money in the bank, or are you just getting by? Doing the same old and expecting different results? We help you look at your numbers and understand what they mean so you can make better business decisions. How would you like an extra $10,000 or $100,000 in your bank account? I thought you might. Using tried and true strategies, we have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Our Neal deal guarantees you will increase your profits or you don't pay us. Really. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help you put more money in your pocket. Again, that's nealgroup.net.
STEM's Bug Killer Trigger is powered by active ingredients found in plants and kills roaches faster than Zevos Bug Killer Trigger based on lab testing on the most common U.S. cockroach species. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
WTMJ Now.
All right, Charlie tells me we had a winner. You want to give me that winner's name and where they're from?
Marsha from McWanago.
Eminem, Marsha from McWanago. Or as they say in other places, Muckwanego. No one says
They don't say that correctly, though.
No, I just made that up.
Marsha, have fun at the Racine Zoo for the Animal Crackers concert series. We'll have tickets for you to win Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week.
Muckwanego. No, just kidding. All right, so I wanted to just highlight one or two texts on our conversation about bullying because I think this is something that a lot of people recognize, but we have just fallen down on our response collectively. Parents, school boards, school districts, some teachers, even kids have been part of this problem, the ones that are doing the bullying. So this is something that I think is part of this, and it comes from the 262. My wife, after 20 years of being an aide for special needs, retired. Reason was fear of lawsuits and no backing from administration. So there's a lot going on in that thing. We talk about the special challenges of special needs students. Well, one of the earlier was that a texter or caller said 20-some kids, no aides in a class.
Yeah, it was our caller, Tyler.
Can you imagine that?
Had an autistic son in a school with a special needs. Yeah, and there were 22 students in that classroom where his son was getting physically beaten, coming home with black eyes, and one teacher with no aid. It's unsupported, just like that teacher who you just read from the talk and text line choosing to retire because
you just can't put yourself through
unsupported.
that. You go home and you don't get away from your job, and that the definition of stress is you can never stop obsessing about something that's bothering you. Right? It consumes your brain, and then it consumes your health at the same time. I had this long conversation with my wife Kathy. We do a lot of walks, as do you and Mike. It's just kind of a time to chat about partner stuff or life stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Get some oxygen, get your paces in, and see some nature.
Yes, and those of us in Oak Creek know we have beautiful nature to look at. So we were talking about, it's a common theme of mine is the lack of supervision in schools. And I made the leap. There's been a lot of high-profile cases of teachers being involved with students. And in almost every case, student wanders into a classroom after school and is with a teacher for a long period of time, door closed. And then we wonder why these things happen. Lack of supervision. Bullying in hallways. Bullying on the grounds of a school. Bullying in classrooms. These are things that with proper supervision and guidance and direction could be not eliminated, but slowed down. If you're willing as a school district and a school board to spend the money to do that. Spending money is never easy, but I know you're sure as heck spending it on the fancy new curriculum every few years that frankly didn't do anything better or worse than the last one. You spend millions on that stuff. How about spending millions on staff, aides, hall monitors? Could be retired people who just want to help their community. They're already paying school taxes. Maybe they'd like to see what goes on in a school. Just a thought.
Interesting solution.
Yeah. I'm not picking on school boards and school districts. It's a tough job. But you got to be better. Because I don't want to read another story about a 12-year-old from New Jersey killing herself because the school district didn't do enough.
It didn't even acknowledge. Discouraged participating in the process. When the parents wanted to file a formal complaint, they were discouraged from doing so. And this is what happened.
Yeah,
that's not taking accountability. That's not supporting. Ignoring a problem isn't the best way to make it go away.
And anybody... Because I got a couple of emails that I was reading during the break from news at the top. Anybody who, I don't want to say defends bullying, but gives me this is just how kids are, I'm not interested in that. It's lazy, it's unintellectual, and frankly, it's dangerous. So stop saying that. Kids are kids. Yeah, they make mistakes. They'll do dumb things. But consequences to bad behavior is one of the ways you remedy that in the future.
That's what shapes the better behavior in the future.
Why is
One would like to think.
Yeah, why is that a hard concept to grasp? Just like if I do something wrong at work, they will tell me, you did something wrong at work. Here's what you do next time.
That's the old kids are being kids, boys will be boys. My other favorite in the business place is, it is what it is. Which basically means this is a dilemma in which I don't want to have anything to do with it, so you deal with it, what it is means.
You figure it out. It's not how it's supposed to work.
By yourself.
On this one,
don't complain about it.
Yeah, we need to figure it out. Right? All right. Not saying we solve the problem. We're identifying some of the problems and offering some solutions, which is what we do here. All right. We'll see what Jeff Wagner is going to offer up after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. No, he's not going to put you in the lineup. But luckily, this is the closest you can get to the skipper himself.
I mean, Robin is the all-time brewer for sure.
Greg Council, every Tuesday on Wisconsin's Morning News at 7.